verse now. Burn bright, I don't burn out. Crush styles, look at me now, huh?
I can never go reverse now.
But I'ma spin it back, A-jump. Went from nada to the crowd, throwing their hands, bass jump. I'ma hit the finish line no matter what. They front, first place, you a runner-up, dominant, but the red and the blues going ruthless. 10 out of 10, 11, I don't snooze. I pursue, don't push it, put me in game that I don't lose. I stay cool, depending on my pen and pennants I choose. Ayy, I'ma show you how it. Got it, nada, loudest. Wu-Tang, I'm a bird, love the competition. Told you only way is up, I don't go reverse. I can't entertain. Will you do the same? Cause I've been ready my whole life. Only see my back, I ain't turning back on them. Wings on me, I'm higher. Cause I've been ready my whole life. Wings on me, I'm higher.
Who am I gon' verse now? Who am I gon' verse now? Show me what it's worth now.
I pull up in the can't imagine. All these people wanna follow, missing in action. Paper planes, I'm a condos, made it from rapping. And I met role models. Thinking I'ma pass all the monogram on my body, the shit, shout out to Virgil. Know that I'm gon' beat them like the shit that I put words to. Mama and the internet, two things that I just learned through. Hit it out of the park, so there's nothing to reverse to. I can't entertain. Will you do the same? Cause I've been ready my whole life. Only see my back, I ain't turning back on them. Wings on me, I'm higher. Cause I've been ready my whole life. Wings on me, I'm higher. Now I can go reverse now.
Who am I gon' verse now? Burn bright, I don't burn out. Crush styles, look at me now, huh?
I can never go reverse now.
But I'ma spin it back, A-jump. Went from nada to the crowd, throwing their hands, bass jump. I'ma hit the finish line no matter what. They front, first place, you a runner-up, dominant, but the red and the blues going ruthless. 10 out of 10, 11, I don't snooze. I pursue, don't push it, put me in game that I don't lose. I stay cool, depending on my pen and pennants I choose. Ayy, I'ma show you how it. Got it, nada, loudest. Wu-Tang, I'm a bird, love the competition. Told you only way is up, I don't go reverse. I can't entertain. Will you do the same? Cause I've been ready my whole life. Only see my back, I ain't turning back on them. Wings on me, I'm higher. Cause I've been ready my whole life. Wings on me, I'm higher.
Who am I gon' verse now? Who am I gon' verse now? Show me what it's worth now.
I pull up in the can't imagine. All these people wanna follow, missing in action. Paper planes, I'm a condos, made it from rapping. And I met role models. Thinking I'ma pass all the monogram on my body, the shit, shout out to Virgil.
สวัสดีครับนี่วันนี้เราอยู่กับทีมบุรีรัมย์ยูไนเต็ด Esports นะครับต้องบอกก่อนว่าปีนี้นะครับเป็นอีกสุดยอดอีกขั้นหนึ่งของวงการ Esports ของ Free Fire เลยเพราะว่าปกติแล้วเนี่ยที่เราได้แชมป์ใช่ไหมก็จะมีเสื้อนักแข่งเข้าไปอยู่ในเกมแต่ว่าทีม BRU เป็นทีมแรกนะครับที่ ปีนี้จะทำเสื้อพิเศษซึ่งเป็นการร่วมกันออกแบบระหว่างทีมดีไซเนอร์ของ Free Fire แล้วก็ทีม BR อยู่ด้วยนอกจากเสื้อเนี่ยก็ยังมีของอื่นๆอีกนะไม่ว่าจะเป็นปืนเป็นไอซ์วอลนะเป็นผ้าคลุมนะก็ไปดูกันได้ว่าจะเป็นยังไงเดี๋ยววันนี้ก็จะมาคุยกันว่าBRU อยากได้อันไหนแล้วก็ Free Fire เราสามารถทำอะไรให้ BRU ได้บ้างนะครับเริ่มกันเลยดีกว่าแนะนำตัวก่อนสวัสดีครับเจมส์มาโตะนะครับวันนี้ก็จะเป็นผู้ดำเนินรายการของวันนี้นั่นเอง
สวัสดีครับเจมส์มิกนะครับเป็นคนออกแบบของในเกมครับ
พี่หมิงนี่สุดยอดมากๆนะครับใครที่ไม่รู้จักนะชุดดังๆอย่างแบ็กก็อตนะครับชุดไวท์ก็อตนะชุดนักแข่งหลายๆแบบเนี่ยพี่หมิงเป็นคนออกแบบหมดเลยนี่ก็เลยได้โอกาสในการมาออกแบบชุดนักแข่งใหม่ให้กับ BRU
ก็ฝากน้องๆติดตามผลงานด้วยครับ
สวัสดีครับผม BRU เด็กหลงครับ
ผมเกตไฮ XL ครับ
ผมโจนาครับ
โมชิครับโมชิ
ผมวาสนาครับ
เริ่มแรกเลยดีกว่าสีก่อน
ในสิ่งบุรีรัมย์ก็ต้องสีฟ้าครับ
สีน้ำเงิน
สีน้ำเงินสีขาวสีดำก็จะเป็นเน้น3 สีนี้ได้นะครับพี่หมิงคิดแบบเอฟเฟกต์บ้าง BRU พี่มั่นใจเอฟเฟกต์น้ำ
สายฟ้า
สายฟ้าแนวชุดกันบ้างดีกว่าแนวชุดอยากได้ชุดประมาณไหน
ล้ำสมัยครับ
ตัวร้ายครับตัวร้าย
ไล่เวียนมนต์ครับ
โหมดอีสปอร์ตใส่
เป็นชุดแนวอีสปอร์ตนิดนึงได้เลยเดี๋ยวจดไว้นะครับงั้นเดี๋ยวทีมงานขอตัวไปออกแบบชุดสักครู่หนึ่งนะเดี๋ยวกลับมาดูว่าจะเป็นแบบไหนมาครับตอนนี้ชุดก็เสร็จแล้วนะพี่ทำให้3แนวด้วยกันนะครับชุดเนี้ยมันจะมีการอิงกับความเป็น BRU ด้วยชุดแรกเนี่ยจะเป็นชุดสไตล์แบบเรียกว่าคอนดักเตอร์ที่อยู่ในวงออร์เคสตรามองว่า BRU เนี่ยเหมือนกับเป็นคนที่คอยคุมจังหวะเกมทำให้แบบได้แชมป์มาชุดที่2กีโจบอกว่าอยากได้แนวแบบจอมเวทนิดนึงนะตัวนี้ก็จะเน้นเป็นจอมเวทนะครับแต่ว่าเป็นจอมเวทที่มีความสมัยใหม่หน่อยนะครับส่วนชุดที่3อันนี้เอาใจโมชิเลยตัวร้ายก็จะเป็นแบบแนวแบบเทพสายฟ้าตัวร้ายนิดนึงนะเดี๋ยวให้ดูเลยดีกว่า3ตัวปั๊บนี่ขึ้นมาอันนี้คือตกใจจริงหรือแกล้งตกใจจริงก็มี3แนวให้ดูนะครับอันแรกก็จะเป็นอย่างที่บอกว่าเป็นแนวแบบคาแรคเตอร์ตัวที่2ก็เป็นจอมเวทแล้วก็ตัวที่3เนี่ยเป็นแนวแบบนินจาตัวร้ายหน่อยๆวิเคราะห์วิจารณ์ได้
สำหรับผมก่อนเลยก็น่าจะชอบตัว A ครับตัวแรกแต่แบบอยากได้หัวของตัว B ไปใส่
อยากได้หัวสีขาว
ใช่
ผมขาวไปใส่
แน่นอนครับผมก็ต้องชอบตัวที่3ครับเพราะผมตัวร้ายหน่อย
ใ
ช่แต่ว่าผมไม่ได้รองเท้าเป็นแบบว่ารองเท้าไอ้ตัวกลางครับ
รองเท้าตัวกลาง
ใช่
ผมชอบตัวที่2ครับแต่ว่าชอบชุดตัวที่3ครับ
ตรงไหนของตัว2ที่โจชอบทรงผม
ทรงผมครับใช่แล้วก็ชอบหน้ากากตัว3แล้วก็เสื้อ
แต่ว่าชอบหน้ากากกับเสื้อตัว
3ใช่ครับ
จริงๆผมชอบทุกแบบนะเพราะว่ามันมีความหมายทุกแบบ
นี่เหล่าพระเอกว่ะ
ใช่แต่จริงๆผมชอบอันขวาสุดตัวร้ายครับแล้วตัวร้ายแบบว่าเห็นดีไซน์ชุดครั้งแรกแล้วแบบโอ้มันเหมือนนินจาตัวรู้อ่ะพี่
What
คือเหมือนแบบซิกแซกได้
ตัวนี้ก็ไม่ใช่
ผมคิดว่าผมใส่ผมน่าจะเล่นพิวผมอยากได้แบบว่าเอามาแมทกับหัวนี้หัวตรงกลางหัวตรงบีครับเอามาแมทกับชุดที่3ครับ
ได้ใช่ครับลองปรับดูพี่เป้บ้าง
ผมชอบตัว1กับตัว3ครับถ้าผสมกันนี่คือแบบว่าหล่อเลย
โอเคทีนี้เดี๋ยวจะให้ดูเป็นส่วนๆบ้างนะเมื่อกี้เห็นบอกว่าชอบทรงผมตัว2กันเยอะแต่ความจริงก็มีหัวขาวสไตล์อื่นด้วยนะครับเดี๋ยวมาดูกันครับนี่ชอบอันไหนกันบ้าง
ผมซ้ายล่างเลยครับโอ้โหต้องเป็นมงกุฎโคตรเท่เลย
ผมชอบไอ้หมวกอันที่6อะครับ
อันที่6
ดูเหมือนแบบ
ตัวร้าย
ใช่
ผมชอบไอ้หัวดำแต่มีมงกุฎครับตรงข้างล่างข้างบนหมวก
ขวาบนพี่ขวาบนสวยใช่เหมือนกันป่ะขวาบน
เหมือนกันครับตัว3เลยครับหล่อ
ข้างบนใช่ไหมพี่
ใช่
สีดำเฟี้ยวกว่า
ใช่ครับ
โอเคได้พันหน้ากากบ้าง
ผมชอบแบบที่เป็นแมสครับ
ทำไมช่วงนี้
ขวาบนใช่
กลั
วแบบคน
กลัวฝุ่น
ใช่เป็นห่วงคนที่เล่นฟรีไฟครับกลัวติดแบบติดโรคติดอะไรอย่างงี้
ผมชอบไอ้สีขาวครับแต่ว่าอยากให้มีเอฟเฟกต์ตรงตาอะไรอย่างเงี้ย
ก็คือเอฟเฟกต์เป็นสายฟ้าทั้งตาเลย
ผมชอบอันที่2ครับ
อันที่2
ใช่ดูแบบว่ามีเอฟเฟกต์เยอะดีแล้วก็มีแบบมีลาย
ถ้าชอบจริงๆก็ชอบอันที่5ครับ
อันที่5
แล้วก็แบบใช่เอาตาของอันที่1มาใส่ชอบอันที่5เหมือนกันครับเหมือนป้อนเลยครับ
ต่อมาเป็นเสื้ออันนี้เสื้อเป็นแบบอื่นแต่ว่าเผื่อแบบอยากลองดูแบบอื่นหรือว่าชอบ3อันแรกมากกว่า
ชอบ3อันแรกมากกว่าของแบบ
ที่พี่ทัน
อืม
มาทั้งตัวแล้วครับ
โอเคได้งั้นเดี๋ยวเก็บฟีดแบ็กของ BRU วันนี้แล้วเดี๋ยวเอาไปทำชุดมาให้ดูว่าสุดท้ายเนี่ยชุดจะเป็นแบบไหนนะครับแล้วก็รอติดตามกันได้เลย
เย้
กลับมาแล้วนะครับก็หลังจากที่เก็บฟีดแบ็กไปแล้วก็พี่หมิงก็ไปวาดเรียบร้อยนะตอนนี้ก็ออกมา6ชุดนี่ทางนู้นวู้ฮู้
ด้านขวาสวยจังเลย
เฮ้ยเป็นไงบ้าง
ในบรรดา6ตัว6ชุดนี่ที่มีผมว่าผมชอบตัวขวามากกว่ามันดูแบบว่ามีแบบไม่อึดอัดใส่แล้วสบายตัวขาสั้นด้วยขาแต่อีกเกือบเนี่ยครับแล้วตรงหมวกด้วยพี่เป็นสัญลักษณ์เลยตรงหมวกแล้วพี่มีแบบไฟด้วยมันโคตรเท่อะ
อันนี้ชอบชิ้นไหนที่สุดในชุด
ชอบขาแต่กับกางเกง
โจชอบชุดไหนที่สุดครับ
ผมชอบขวาสุดครับชอบเสื้อครับชอบเสื้อ
ชอบเสื้อ
เต็ม10ผมให้ 7 เลยเนี่ย
เราหายไปอีก3
7ว่าดัด
จากวันเด็ดพี่เป้บ้างดีกว่าโค้ด
ชอบตัวขวาเหมือนกันครับ
เฮ้ยใช่เหรอเริ่มต้นกันหมดเลยเหรอเฮ้ยไม่ได้เตรียมใช่ไหม
ก็กูชอบเหมือนกันนะ
บอล
ผมชอบทั้งหมดเลยครับเพราะว่ามันแบบ มันเป็นสัญลักษณ์ของแบบบุรีรัมย์อะไรเงี้ยมันเท่แล้ว
งั้นมีชิ้นไหนที่ชอบเป็นพิเศษไหม
เป็นส่วนของกางเกงของอันที่6ครับ
กางเกงอันที่หก
มันดูโดดเด่นอันเดียวเลย
อ๋อเป็นขาสั้น
ใช่
แบบสบาย
ใช่ครับ
อ๋อมีเขียนด้วย
ว่า
BRU
ใช่
คนสุดท้ายชอบอันไหนครับ
มันเพื่อนๆนะชอบอันที่6
ชอบส่วนไหนที่สุด
ชอบทุกส่วนนะชอบทุกส่วน
อ๋อคือเอาไปทั้งเซตเลย
ใช่ครับ
โอเค
ลงตัวแล้ว
ไงก็ฝากหน่อยว่าแบบชุดนี้มันเป็นชุดแรกที่เราทำแบบโคกับ e-sport เลยไม่เคยทำมาก่อนครับบุรีรัมย์เป็นทีมแรกที่ได้แชมป์โลกแล้วทำให้ขายของ
ฝากซื้อกันเยอะๆนะครับก็ถ้าซื้อกันเยอะๆปีหน้าก็จะมีอีกนะครับก็ฝากด้วยครับ
ครับฝากด้วยครับผมก็ขอบคุณคนออกแบบครับผม
ครับ
Circle, but unfortunately the shift doesn't favor.
It's being tossed on either end. Can it find an opening for MBR Omega?
All taken out of the equation already. It's a 2v1. Serial Namis lobby once again. 3 games in a row.
Week 2 is over, and the battle for dominance in FFWS SEA 2026 fall is heating up. From incredible clutches to standout MVP performances, here are the biggest moments from this week's action. Week 2, Day 1 was a strong showing for Indonesia, with Onyx, MBR, and RRQ securing 4 booyahs across 6 games. Evos may still be searching for their first, but they've found a strong rhythm and consistently reached the late game. Meanwhile, Putra's arrival at Onyx made an immediate impact, helping the team secure a booyah. Vamos are back in form. After becoming the first Malaysian team to secure a booyah in Week 1, they continued their momentum in Week 2. On Day 2, Vamos exploded for 27 eliminations in Game 4, earning 39 points and taking over the top spot in the standings.
Vamos, can they make the run happen? Vamos!
Team Flash had an incredible Day 3, securing back-to-back booyahs in Games 2 and 3 and bringing their total to 5. Their strong performance pushed them all the way to the top of the standings, with 237 eliminations and 401 points. In Game 6, Team Flash came very close to another booyah, but couldn't finish the final fight against Buriram and GOW Esports. Even so, their performance throughout the day was enough to make them the team of the day. Buriram United Esports had a strong Day 3, securing 2 booyahs and climbing into the top 5 of the Week 2 standings. Their total now stands at 5 booyahs and 361 points. The highlight came in Game 6, where Buriram quickly wiped out Team Flash in a decisive team fight, helping them secure valuable points and cap off a strong day. And that's a wrap on Week 2 of FFWS SEA 2026 Fall. New leaders have emerged. Teams are finding their momentum, and the battle for the top is getting tougher. The fight for the top is far from over. Catch all the action next week in FFWS SEA 2026 Fall. They are often excluded from conversations about the strongest region. But now, Team Flash has silenced everyone to become the best nation in the knockout stage.
For the pickup, and RRQ is falling down one at a time. 2v2 situation, and Maal still in position. And Luando couldn't get out from the glue wall, but can finish Rans. In the meantime, it's now a 2v3 situation with quickness on the pickup. And seems like AJ is on the roll right now. Booyah on this team versus team. Even Pichu and Goku can try their best, but look at this, a takedown on N1 player who's out of sight. That can be the game changer, and Goku is now losing out on HP, and Team Flash gets the booyah once again.
Tụi mình chỉ đang cố gắng để thể hiện tốt nhất trong mùa giải lần này, chứ không phải là để chứng minh những nghi ngờ của các bạn đối với tụi mình.
They are the kings of their respective regions, and today they will prove it to claim the top spot.
Can Gangster make the final stand here? Because RQ Kazu are ruthless with the circle pushing in. It is getting dire for Gangster. Runs is going big, and a buy right by his side. They hold hands here. RRQ Kazu finally nails the booyah. They have eluded them for quite some time.
Semangat aja sih buat di week ketiga dan keluarin lah kekuatan kalian kalau kalian layak ke final.
They step out, everybody is ready to shoot them down. It's like shooting a fish in a battle. 4-4 gets destroyed the moment he takes a step outside that house. The Riptide Rhythm also leaves them nothing to work with. And Boom managed to steal one elimination away from Vamos, but he gets punished for it instantly. Down to a 3v2. We'll have to fight against overwhelming odds to get inside the zone over here. Jun gets back into the zone, hoping to find the backstab.
Mungkin kita lebih bermain lebih agresif lagi dan lebih konsisten lagi, juga harus lebih disiplin lagi di late game-nya lah. Soalnya kita banyak kecolongan di late game, kita harus manfaatin peluang itu semaksimal mungkin untuk kedepannya.
Pinning their hurt, clearing them out, but the same goes with the blue, breaking down the defenses of AGAL. So Nameless Who has to at the moment in the two-way push.
ความสม่ำเสมอไม่อยากเสี่ยงโดยไม่จำเป็นเราจะเล่นอย่างฉลาดเก็บแต้มให้ได้มากที่สุดเท่าที่จะเป็นไปได้และปกป้องตำแหน่งของเรา
Flanked around by far is the sniper of the squad. Gets taken down by the god. APT same god. This is Flash dismantling Evos. Storm knocked down to the ground.
Tất nhiên là Việt Nam sẽ giành được tấm vé vàng bởi vì các đội Việt Nam không ngại giao tranh với những đội tuyển khác. Khi mà trận đấu cuối cùng chưa kết thúc thì tụi mình sẽ cố gắng hết sức để giành lấy tấm vé vàng.
If they fall today, their dreams of becoming the king of sea will quickly slip away. Can they rise to the occasion? And who will conquer them all?
Alhamdulillah.
Abang tak main. Satu lagi. Buya. Tenang. Ada gua. 100 foot. Tenang, gue. Santai. Alhamdulillah. Masuk, kanan. 100 lagi. Kanan, 2. Tiga. Banyak. Rata. Lagi. Bisa. Mana. Tahan, depan ini. Ya. Mau kiri ini enggak? Sabar, baik.
boy. Oh kiri ini mau nggak? Masuk kiri. Kiri naik. Sini. Ada step cok. Angkat gaji ya. Dorong. Sekarang satu. Sekarang satu. Baik. Ayo. Saya ini. Ini di mobil nih. 50. Bakar. Nanti kanan cok. Satu. Di gua bay. 100 bay. Kalau krono. Nice bay. Tahan bay. Itu bay. Bay. Gue lempar. Satu lagi nggak? Nice bay. Lagi. Ada kapal. Maju deh ya. Sini. Nice.ไปอยู่หน้าล้ำหน้าเยอะนะได้พี่กูต้องเล่นให้พี่แฮกกับโจ้งั้นมึงอยู่เดี๋ยวกูอยู่คนเดียวได้เสียตัวเดียวป่ะตรงนั้นเสียตัวเดียวป่ะมีออกขวาในช่วงเราเสียตรงไอ้บอลไหนวะปาแล้วแล้วบ้านเล่นนะเว้ยทีเผื่อนะเว้ยดูดีนะในบ้าน
ก็อย่างนี้ในบ้าน3ตัวแล้วก็รัวตัวหนึ่งกันนะเหลือ8ตัวนะ
ใช่ไม่เต็มที่4 3ไม่เต็มที่นะเว้ยเราออกมาเล่นข้างนอกได้ป่ะแพ็คออกมาเลยได้ป่ะแพ็คออกมาเลยได้ป่ะปลาเขียวอะไรเลยหายิงนี่แค่หายิงข้างบ้านของบ้านนี่ให้เพื่อนเล่นข้างนอกไปมันเสียบอลมาไม่ทีเผื่อนะขวาออกไปทางแล้วนี่แล้วขวาเอาทางต่อไปแล้วขีดก่อนได้ป่ะขีดซ้ายนะกูไปหินนี่ให้ขีดซ้ายรอเลยกูต้องชิดอ่ะเพื่อนต้องชิดอ่ะมันจะโดดโจ้ตัวมันจะโดดดาวหน้ามึงโจ้
บอล139ป้อนมอสอ่ะจะตายแล้วป้อนเดียว
หน้ากู
ตายเลย
ตัวท้ายต่อไปวัดหัวเลย
รอให้จะติด
เอาดิไป
ติดเรื่องไหน
Dia dapat sikit. Turun dah. Kita harus cross ya, Terus apa?
Itu turun kanan. Mau kanan kan?
Jangan, lempar dulu.
Pelan-pelan.
Iya. 75. Cara satu. Knock mati. Kena dua. Ayo lagi. 20 depan satu. Ayo. 1 2 3.
No.
Ada dia jangan mau maju. Gua kena maju. Gua pegang. Lihat kiri. Kiri juga mau maju tuh.
Aman. Gua feel. Santai lagi.
7 orang ya. Nah, sabar. Kanan 3. Gua main kanannya. Paling bom kanannya sedap.
Gua bisa mepetin kanannya agak dekat.
Iya. Karat dua anjing. Ya.
Habis ball gue.
Baju
ngopres kah?
Barang sini, barang dulu.
Nice.
Parang. Pat. Ada maju satu. 5 depan gua. Aku kabal. Satu.
Casenya depan gua.
Kanan depan gua. Belakang gua anjing.
Casenya kenok.
Oke. Lagi.
Wen.
Oke, lagi roket. Jalan gua. Satu, setengah 2. Lagi ini, 2. 100.
Ok ép nhau rồi anh em ơi.
Làm
cái trái luôn nè.
Phải phải á.
Vòng phải chứ.
Phải
của tao nè. Tiền cục đá cái xu.
Trái còn 2 nha.
Để cục đá này mai chuẩn bị bóng.
Tiền cục đá cho mà em nè.
Bắt đây.
Bắt luôn.
Bắt này. Bắt ca đây.
Nó rồi.
Yếu này. Còn bên kia.
Có máu cay nha.
Bên kia bắt nhau.
Tội đi rồi. Lấy cho mồi cho nè, qua đây.
Yếu một nè.
Đánh qua.
Còn ba thôi. Xong rồi.
Cho một quá trời nha mày.
Ok để số 1 cái để chứ.
Tao mình cạnh rồi.
Còn hai thôi.
Tới cạnh em đi. Chơi cạnh em sao đây?
Ra máu cường chơi mà.
Ra máu nè.
Tôi xe đi chơi à.
Từ.
Rồi 2 rồi.
100 nữa.
Tao hình kìa.
100 đi.
Yếu một nè.
2.
Đưa phải.
Đây gàng. Hai thằng trong kêu tròn luôn á.
Đúng rồi sao đây?
Vậy đâu nhau kìa. 100 nè.
2.
Còn một à.
Tôi kêu nè.
Yếu.
2. Sao? Anh đi mình hay quá. Nhìn phải nè.
Đâu á. Ủa nó sao á?
Em phải rồi.
Cái bộ này.
Em luôn rồi.
Anh còn có 4 anh em ơi.
Bút bầu nè.
Hai cần có đầu. Còn 2 lỗi. Từ. Anh gọi kêu cực. Kêu rồi anh.
Cao rồi, Oscar rồi luôn, Oscar luôn. Nha.
Bên bài rồi. Chơi nó sao á?
Tụi em nè.
Dưới.
Hiểu rồi. Đâu? Ai? Sai cơ.
With WAG, a become champions of Southeast Asia.
Họ nói chúng tôi chỉ chiến thắng nhờ một kỳ tích. Chúng tôi đã nghe đủ một lần hoài nghi. Giờ là lúc chứng minh đó chưa bao giờ là may mắn mà là thực lực của chúng tôi.
Kami berjuang untuk mengukir nama di pentas dunia. Kini, kami di sini untuk membuktikan bahawa kami setara dengan yang terbaik.
เขาบอกว่ายุคของเรามันจบลงแล้วแต่ตำนานไม่ได้วัดกันที่อดีตมันวัดกันที่ก้าวต่อไปต่างหาก
Menjadi juara dunia memang pernah membawa kami ke puncak, tapi kegagalan selalu membayangi. Kini kami siap berjuang kembali.
Different stories, different regions, one ambition. Because greatness belongs to those who push beyond all limits.
Circle, but unfortunately the shift doesn't favor.
It's being tossed on either end. Can it find an opening for MBR Omega?
All taken out of the equation already. It's a 2v1. Serial Namis lobby once again. 3 games in a row.
Week 2 is over, and the battle for dominance in FFWS SEA 2026 fall is heating up. From incredible clutches to standout MVP performances, here are the biggest moments from this week's action. Week 2, Day 1 was a strong showing for Indonesia, with Onyx, MBR, and RRQ securing 4 booyahs across 6 games. Evos may still be searching for their first, but they've found a strong rhythm and consistently reached the late game. Meanwhile, Putra's arrival at Onyx made an immediate impact, helping the team secure a booyah. Vamos are back in form. After becoming the first Malaysian team to secure a booyah in Week 1, they continued their momentum in Week 2. On Day 2, Vamos exploded for 27 eliminations in Game 4, earning 39 points and taking over the top spot in the standings.
Vamos, can they make the run happen? Vamos!
Team Flash had an incredible Day 3, securing back-to-back booyahs in Games 2 and 3 and bringing their total to 5. Their strong performance pushed them all the way to the top of the standings with 237 eliminations and 401 points. In Game 6, Team Flash came very close to another booyah, but couldn't finish the final fight against Buriram and GOW Esports. Even so, their performance throughout the day was enough to make them the team of the day. Buriram United Esports had a strong Day 3, securing 2 booyahs and climbing into the top 5 of the Week 2 standings. Their total now stands at 5 booyahs and 361 points. The highlight came in Game 6, where Buriram quickly wiped out Team Flash in a decisive team fight, helping them secure valuable points and cap off a strong day. And that's a wrap on Week 2 of FFWS SEA 2026 Fall. New leaders have emerged. Teams are fighting.
Limits are being broken and the teams are going above and beyond in doing so. The past 2 weeks, we've witnessed teams use Phase 1 as a testing ground for refining new strategies for Southeast Asia. But today marks the beginning of those tests to come into fruition as we kick off Phase 2 for the knockout stage. On the desk, I'm Neptune the Gentleman Garcia, joined by my brother Mustacho AJ for the first half, and we will have Lucifer on the second half. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is the Free Fire World Series Southeast Asia 2026 Fall Beyond All Limits knockout stage starts now.
Absolutely true, Neptune. This is exactly what we needed. We needed to also test whether or not my mute button was working. But most importantly, what we were out here testing was to see if or not the teams had what it takes to just stay in the top 12, right? Because we talked about this in Phase 1. There are no real big repercussions of not ending up in the top 12. But who would have thought teams like Twisted Minds as well as EVOS Divine would be so close down to the bottom, where it would only come down to 1 point between EVOS Divine not finding the qualifier to actually making that qualifier, right? It's crazy that these two big teams, these two big names had to be down there. But that stands true. That actually proves our statement many a times true, that this is one of the most most savage lobbies out there, Neptune.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, we've seen this happen even in the past, and it's not as if like they're doing something different. It's just that they want to soak more into playing the games, try more strategies, and I think there's a lot of risk in that. It's a risk that you will be pushed down away from the top 12, but as you mentioned, there's no repercussions. There's really no elimination just yet out of Phase 1, and I'm really loving that the teams are, like, we're seeing those kind of strategies really show up, really come up. And even some of the teams, like Team Falcons, we rarely see an aggressive Team Falcons on the get-go, but now they're showing up. Even if they didn't take the #1 spot, Team Flash did overtake them with 5 points. But look at the numbers in terms of elimination for Team Falcons. I'm loving this side of them.
Yeah, I love the fact that Falcons, RRQ Kazu, AGAL, these three squads are just super top whenever it comes to eliminations. They have been dominating these lobbies through those eliminations. But Flash is not too far away, right? And I think Flash kind of understood, okay, where does our team stand? Can we go on a straight-on 4v4 fight all the time again? Teams like Falcons, RRQ, maybe not. So let's focus on our positioning. Let's focus on our placements. They walked away from Phase 1 with 5 booyahs, equaling Buriram, who was so far down the leaderboard in comparison to where Flash was. It was a phenomenal performance from the Vietnamese squad. But of course, let's walk through the format and all before we continue on with the stories that these teams have built so far, Neptune. Like we were talking about Phase 1, that has now successfully come to an end. We now move into Phase 2 of things, where every day of this third week, 2 teams, the top 2 teams, makes their way into the grand finals immediately.
And their introduction in Phase 2 will depend on the placement that they took after Phase 1, which why there are a few advantages and disadvantages if you will not be part of the first day of this Phase 2. But looking back in knockout stage, again, it's 2 weeks that we had a Phase 1 and 2 weekends, and we had a Phase 1, only 1 week for Phase 2, and those who are doing quite well and will continue to do well will be able to get early ticket into the grand finals and not even take the Phase 3, because Phase 3, there's a lot of risk in there. More of a 50-50 for the teams that will be left behind.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, in terms of whatever you get to walk away with in the competition, it is all about the size, right? The champions get to walk away, Neptune, with $100,000 US. But what's also beautiful about this prize pool is the fact that everybody gets to walk away with something. And if you're that team that gets to push the rest of the squads to their limits every single day, we also have the bonus $250 USD per day for the team that tops the charts.
Yeah, and well, speaking of points, this is how teams are gathering the points in terms of their placement. And we were talking about how Team Flash was doing so with the number of booyahs that they have. If you get a booyah, you get 12 points. If you get a second place, you get 9 points. It goes down by 1 until the 10th place. Unfortunately, if you get to 11 and 12, you will get nothing. Zero, nada, zilch. But if there's in any way a tie that will be happening within the tournament, we go with a number of booyahs followed by total elimination. And if that doesn't break it, we go through ranking on the final game that we rarely see out of tournaments just like this.
Absolute knockout is what these teams will be looking for in terms of gameplay. But in the knockout phase, do you actually get knocked out? Not until we get into the third week, all right? This is just the second week. So basically, that only means every day 12 teams will play. The top 2 teams of each and every single day, today, tomorrow, and the day after, will make their way into the grand finals. And of course, if the top 2 teams make their way in, obviously that frees up 2 slots. That's exactly what the bottom 6 teams of phase 1 will be doing. Little by little, they will trickle on in to complete the 12 squads, and they'll make the play. And let's say by the end of phase 2, if you are not in the grand finals yet, what happens? Basically, you are the last 12 teams standing, and in week 4, you will go absolutely toe-to-toe with the teams out there and perhaps earn or lose your chance to be in the grand finals. Only the top 6 will survive week 4.
Well, let's see if they'll be able to get in on that fight, especially in the final week. But this is one thing that we've seen used quite well, and it was phenomenal that some of the teams are playing around with a lot of skills, not only in the active skill department, but unique active skill definitely is a must. If you will be choosing out of all the active skills, there's no double. That will be happening out of the active skill selection, and I'm really loving a strategy that's coming out on the intention of the teams putting out those active skills.
Yes, absolutely. 4 unique active skills is what we're looking for out there, and it has definitely given birth to a lot of phenomenal strategies out there where teams are now starting to focus on not what's just purely the meta, but what really serves their own strategies, regardless of what the meta calls for the so-called best play or lineup to be, right? Speaking of lineup of active skills, we're also looking at the starting lineup of the squads, and some shifts have happened after our phase number 1, Neptune, where we've seen some players leave and some players join us.
Yeah, RRQ is one of those who will be introducing a new phase, a new name, and this is RRQ Jack. He will be, or might be, the Jack of all trades, or the Captain Jack Sparrow that will lead the team to a Booyah. We'll have to see later on of what he will be able to do, if he will be playing, because again, there's a lot of risk involved, especially in this phase too.
Bigatron as well brings in Fellow as well as Tius into their lineup. Unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to 2 very strong players on the squad, Joel as well as Dix. We barely saw Joel. I think he came in for 1 game only, and the rest of the games we did manage to see Dix play out there, but unfortunately we do not know exactly where their next destination is. For the 2 new players on the side of Bigatron by Vitality, we will get the pleasure of seeing exactly how they do out there today.
Well, for this lineup, we're looking at Gao Esports that will have a few of those changes. We're seeing MTai that will be introduced coming from Copper X Esports, as well as a reintroduction of Dian into the professional scene. I'm really looking forward to more of that, but let's take a look at the schedule, because this is where we build more of the story, and I'm loving that we're going to start it off in Purgatory.
Of course, you love those cute flight paths on Purgatory. I kind of am a small, tiny little bit of a fan of those flight paths as well, which is why Purgatory does excite me, Neptune. But what does excite me a little bit more is the fact that you just find savage battles out there, right? This is the kind of map which really tests how well has your team studied, how much has your team practiced each and every single one of those rotations. On a map as large as Purgatory, if you don't have those vehicles, and in fact, sometimes even if you do have those vehicles in a double sniper meta, you might still be in trouble if you rotate the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see if this is something that can be avoided, especially rotation for a squad. But we've seen a lot of elevation being taken as well because of the hills, the mountains that we have in this specific map, and the edges as well of those ridges is being used as a great cover, a great exit strategy. And we've seen a lot of those because even if we are getting fair flight path, the teams are just going with a script that it's always a skewed flight path. Most of the time in Purgatory, this is where we see most of the hot drops happening, especially in Brasilia. We rarely see some of those happening in the northern part. Moat House would be one, but at some point, Central and Fire Brigade is one of the commonality drop spot by two different teams. So it's very close to each other. Thus, there's always an early engagement happening in that southern side.
Yeah, no doubt at all, man. And of course, the teams who do perform fairly well here, teams like RRQ, Buriram, AGAL, we do expect to see a lot of firepower from them. But I am expecting Vietnam to wake up strong today as well. I'm looking at Gao, I'm looking at Flash. More importantly, Gao, I think they do have a lot to prove after last week. As you can clearly see in the top 3 of this map, you do not see Gao, but they have definitely shown they have the capability of finding that final circle here in Purgatory. Where they do lack a little bit of finesse is finding those eliminations, Neptune, which I expect them to have been able to fix here before getting into week 3.
I guess that's something that probably the new players will be able to introduce right here because they have the hunger, they have the fire.
Yeah.
But let's see on if that fire will be fueled even more because you have Gao on your prediction. I'm going with the safe team because of the 3 booyahs that they gather out of this map. So I'm going with Buriram United.
Okay, all right. The probability of you getting it right versus me getting it right is just very, very far off because, like you said it, man, Buriram, not just one of the best, but currently the team with the most number of booyahs on Purgatory, the most proven team here on this map in the current setup up against these monsters of Southeast Asia. But even if that said, even if I do believe in the blue blood, the Buriram promise, I think Gao stands a strong chance here to just make the leap back up in week 3 as we start things off. As we head on into Purgatory, let's see if I get my prediction right.
Well, neither heaven or hell will say the teams who will be predicting it wrong, especially in the drop spot as well as rotation. But again, you have the magic of predicting so many times on the past few weeks.
Lucky, bro.
So
lucky.
I won't be going against that.
lucky.
Lucky, like the chat lucky.
Yeah, like the lucky in our chat. You know, and here's the one thing that I've learned in the years that I've grown up. Yeah, luck does not stay there all the time. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes, man, you just get kicked around. Getting kicked around is not the plan of Falcons and RRQ as they meet down below. It looks like a very early skirmish. Will take out a couple of players from the side of Falcons here. Pina, I don't think he has the right gun. Riptide Rhythm from afar. Must be from the side of RRQ. Dude's already flanking on the right-hand angle here, looking for Pina. The rest of the Falcon players all dropping in for the defense. Porpo's gonna get caught out by 2 players, and Abe finds him with the MP5. Pina struggling to survive, and looks like Abe's gonna go looking for him.
And unfortunately, Pina doesn't have an angle to take advantage of the multiple players from RRQ that's going against Por. But this is what I'm talking about. The elevation. PE Sports is taking that and also going against Poom at the moment. But unfortunately, Poom is going solo right now. And there goes shot with a power fall. And a combination from Nero and the rest of PE Sports brings him down. So that brings them with 1 elimination. But the rest of the squad of Onyx Olympus is still on front. So will they be able to find Crime, who will not be expecting Siege 1, but there goes Nero being taken down, and here comes a glue wall being pulled out. Siege 1 with a Bison, will he be able to make it against that VSK or the Mini Uzi that Crime has?
Yes, smart defensive play here by Crime. He knew that he was going to be in a little bit of hot soup. If he stays in his position, he quickly uses that opening Siege 1. Puts a lot of distance between himself and the guy. And unfortunately, that leads to the drop of C21. Now, Crime down on the ground, traded out by LBT here. A 1-for-1. C21 is not going to get saved here potentially, but as I say that, Nero does appear like Superman, doing the exact opposite. Making sure he gives back up to his buddy. Bedev gets the pickup, and Adam gets caught as well. What a turnaround here for PE Sports.
Yeah, I mean, the rate of fire on that plasma gun will not be that much, especially in CQC, especially with the numbers that we have on PE Sports. But G'day being spotted, ice grenade being thrown, and G'day will be hit from a headshot, but LBT on the flank using that double vector, and now the pickup will be done for elimination strong, and they still have a full squad in here, but I haven't spotted Twisted Mind, who did drop very close, and just watching that unfold, but let's see if they'll be able to find him on rotation.
What's insane is Falcons are out of the lobby already. Super early Neptune. AGAL might face the same fate as well. as the Falcon Hunters now turn their attention over to AGAL, one of the most lethal, most best improved Thai squads out there, led by Du. Let's see if they can sustain their battle up against 4 players from the Indonesian side. They're scrambling for that revive. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to pull this one off because they desperately need Du back in this.
I'll see if this is something they can handle on CQC. Kyong has switched to MP4 right now, and we've seen a few of those long-range weapons like AC-80 as well as M4, but they will need to position themselves quite well. But speaking of positioning, we have a couple of players from Burim United using a vehicle, and Dion almost being shot at, but the timing was wrong. Here comes Wasana with a Drogon together with Getna, and M5 and 90 domination coming from this guy, and I think this is a comeback of Getna that has been waiting for that fire to explode for the longest time.
Yeah, he's gonna get some for himself, Mr. Getna. 5 eliminations for the side of AGAL. Looks like they handled the situation with Bigatron not just well, but it looks like they are going for the Punisher. Kojak caught out here. Du has got eyes on him. Scar in hand. The only reason why Kojak's still up on his feet is because Cypher hadn't found him. But as I say that Cypher straight to the back of the head takes Kojak out of the equation. 6 elimination points already for AGAL. Bigatron by Vitality. Oh, how the story has changed. They had the high ground. They had the man advantage. But just like that, AGAL just flipping the script on them.
Yeah, AJL just deciphered that code, and BTR has been broken down, left with only 1 player and in a point where they might be eliminated. But as we look in how the chase is going on, one of few teams that is utilizing a vehicle, Burim United, valiant dash from Wasana, up close and personal with VSK, and the rest of the squad shuts him down. And Vamos lost one of the players, but a quick revive has been done. The same goes for Bigatron by Vitality.
Jonah. VSK finds the knee and the follow-up. Easy peasy here. VSK, Kar98 combo, very deadly combo in the hands of Captain Jonah, who has been focusing in the recent times to be one of the prime snipers of the competition. And he is getting there. And Getna, on that note, gets some for himself as well. Yet another heady. 5 eliminations strong now for Buriram as they continue to hunt Vamos.
Well, Vamos is not looking good. Buriram has been bringing them down one at a time. And we have one. I think they have spotted him already. Let's see if the rest of the squad, if they are heading straight into him. And there you have it. Zoo West will be taken down. 6 elimination for BRU. And even staying outside the circle will not hurt. But look at that. Team Flash might have heard those gunshots and waiting for them at Quarry.
Yeah, they tasted some blood in the water, and like piranhas, the boys on the side of Buriram collapsing onto Vamos, finding elimination after elimination. But as we can see here, Flash slowly encircling the compound at Quarry here. Information's been given away already, and the flank is on by Unluan. Jonah might be smelling something fishy in this situation. He sends his 2 rushes. Wasana and Getna go to take Unluan out of the equation, and it looks like that flank is going to fail instantaneously. But the backup from the rest of the players on the side of Flash perhaps can save Unluan right here, right now. They're gone. Mochi Getna takes Unluan out. It's a 1-for-1 trade for the time being. Flash can still survive this one.
Well, let's see if they can survive. They can get away from Burim United, because Burim United, despite of losing Moshi, they're still unstoppable. And there you have it. A pickup can be done. But unfortunately, Getna just eliminated most of them. The God going solo. And with a flurry of glue walls, he might be able to make it with that vehicle. The revive has been done already. But as we look in the elimination feed, Explicit Mind being taken down. The God! Jonah! And this is something that you don't see often.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the wrong player to go up against at this point of time. Jonah, one of the prime snipers of Southeast Asia for sure. VSK Kar98 in confidence. He heard the sound, he saw the player, he knew the movement, and he just knew the map like the back of his hand, finding that perfect flank and that simple shot for just another extra elimination. And Falcons are down in the depths of despair right now, looking for those revives. Bigatron by Vitality, on the other hand, they have managed to run away from quite a number of squads already, but getting away from their brothers RRQ proves to be a tad bit more difficult as Sibang hits a double revive, helping the squad stay alive a little longer.
Oh, let's see if this is something that they can prevent. The pick-up or the revive has been done already, but LBT might have spotted Sibang. waiting for the perfect opportunity, and there you go with VSS beating Maal to it, but that puts him in the target of RRQ. And PE Sport, despite of having a full squad, LPT is just lost in this moment, and they use the binocular to find out that he's going solo.
In this moment, he will figure out that things are about to get a tad bit dicey. PE Sports. It looks like they're going to lose yet another player. Easy peasy here with the valiant dash off of Abe. Rans get that follow up with the M590, and RRQ are on 8 eliminations. It looks like the Titans from Phase 1 are looking to be pretty strong here in Phase 2 as well.
Well, this is something that I'm loving. Team Flash, though, we were recognizing the amount of elimination as well as placement that they've gathered. Yeah. And I think with the rotation that they have, especially on the edge, after facing Buriram United, they will stick with that edge gameplay. They don't want to risk it. Most of the time, they find a final circle and probably get a booyah at this point. But for PE Sports, it's more of trouble. Gao is now going for the chase against Nero. Glue wall placement was just perfect, but not in time because Pichu was waiting for him, but here comes the rest of the squad within the area. It's Onyx Olympus who might be taking up on this challenge.
Yeah, Gao looking for a defensive spot, spotting out Onyx and probably rethinking the position that they want to be holding in this next compound. But they don't want to be too far away from the vending machine as well. This is going to be prime spot for them to play the defense for this next circle. And as I say, the next circle, it looks like Bigatron by Vitality is struggling to find it for themselves on a hard reset here after that encounter with RRQ. Just like Flash, they'll have to slow their pace down and once again resume, or I have to say restart their looting progress, Nep. We might have lost Nep for a little second here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Don't worry, he will be right back with us.
Yep.
And okay, looks
Sorry
like he's
about
back.
That. Yeah, I was saying BTR is one of those teams that has been in a revive marathon for the longest time when we started Purgatory. So there's one thing that they need to avoid right now. Early engagement, find a final circle, use a vehicle if necessary, but all those noise has just reeled in a lot of opponents. But speaking of opponents, RQ just stepped in to back up Dudes into the crosshairs of AGAL. The only question though is will they be able to break through?
That's a solid backup here. And now Cypher's going to be stuck all alone. Valiant dashes through his own defenses just to catch them off guard. But it is him that gets tagged. M590 not finding the perfect connections just yet. But here comes Nameless for the save as well. Red's knocked down. M590 for the pop. Abe gets the one counter. But Cypher puts him back down onto the ground. Nameless about to be picked up as well. Cypher's on fire. 9 eliminations. And the man has not had enough just yet. You looking for Dude and the final bullet on the coffin of RRQ, delivered by the one and only Cypher. 10 eliminations, and that's your highlight.
And Dude was not spotted in there, and Stealth Bites Dude was just running across him. And there goes RRQ. GG's. Vamos, though, after several revives and knockdowns against them, they are back in play and very close and edge of the circle. The only question, though, is will they be taking this airdrop that would reveal their position into the map, or probably a better approach for if anyone jumps in this corner. But looking at the bridge that they have, the high ground that they have, LBT is the one who tried to impose against Vamos, but unfortunately lost his life. PE Sports is last down to the last leg, and half of the leg is being picked up as they recover.
Yeah, man. I mean, they got that leg blown off for sure. But perhaps the only reason why they're not finding those booyahs is because they don't have the champion bundle on them just yet, man. And yes, you can dress yourself up to many beautiful booyahs, right? Those booyahs in style coming your way very soon for sure.
Looking forward to that coming up. Let's see if this is something that Buriram United can stay true, getting a lot of eliminations, especially from what we've seen in the first half of this game. AGAL, though, still aggressive, still on fire, being the elimination leader of this lobby, and a clear opening in one of the compounds. So I think a better compound that they can take in this next phase. So it's 4th to the 5th that will be happening in less than 30 seconds, and that might push Team Flash against AGAL unless some other teams forces them their way way into this compound.
The record for a solo player elimination run has been 11 eliminations, and that record is held by Dew at the moment, who's currently trailing Cypher by 6 eliminations, Neptune. And Cypher is just 1 from finding the equalizer, 2 from beating Dew and setting a brand new record here for a single player elimination run. Can he do it, or will this be the end as they face off against Flash? The lightning zone has been called out as well. It is the lightning zone of Flash, but Gao attacking from the back, and I don't think Flash saw that one coming.
Yeah, they didn't see that coming. They were confident with the lightning zone that they have, but Dew has been spotted. Let's see if this is something that he can shoot out. The God is also on the second floor, so he might be targeting Dew right now, and there you have it. Dew has been taken down, but a trade-off is happening, and the rest of the squad of Team Flash is stuck in a corner against Cypher and this rest.
That's crazy. The players on the side are AGAL trying to pelt them, but bullet after bullet off of that M590. But the shots from afar is the one that catches them off guard, and Flash also losing players at the same time. It is Gao getting involved in this situation, PE getting involved in this situation. Everybody wants a piece of this action, and it just means that the players who found their way into this defensive spot first are just gonna be the biggest losers. AGL still on their feet though. They've got 2 survivors and Flash left with 1.
See if the God can be spotted at the moment. Battles does have the AWM, but Aurora Vision onto them. He might be the ones being targeted, thus they are not moving for the moment. For the rest of the squad, Gao Esports, the winner of that battle between Flash and AGL, because the elevation they have just stole away a lot of points.
I mean, yes, I predicted them, but this is just a tough situation to get out of Neptune. Look at this. Gao is right between Buriram, WAG as well as Vamos, but it looks like Gao is gonna get a little bit lucky here. They see Buriram circling on around, and Gao trying to put an end to Buriram on their own. Onyx helps out as well, and Buriram is out. Gao caught them with their pants down, and Onyx said, "Let us give you a helping hand."
What in the sorcerer is this, AJ? You predicted Gao and they are on fire, but they did lose. lucky. Let's see. They just lost Dian. They still have a chance right here because Secret WAG, a team that could have backstabbed Gao Esports! We spoke too soon. I shouldn't have pointed it out because they were taken down quite easily.
Lucky, Neptune. You should have left it. Those boys were on a run, but it doesn't matter. It was their own Vietnamese brothers that drew blood. Now Secret WAG can still represent Vietnam in this final circle and pull away the booyah. As Flash now gets clunked on their head, kicked out of the lobby. Onyx still on fire. Good day, getting those god names off of Vamos as well. As PE Esports makes the exit. The circle catching up with WAG. WAG trying to smash down the defenses, and a rip back with them from afar. WAG losing all of their defenses, having to step outside the circle at the very edge, and here AGA takes advantage, and Cypher with the god names, dismantling Secret WAG.
And that was a clutch in my books right now, but unfortunately we still have 4 players from Onyx Olympus, and the aggression is non-stop. Dealing with 1, Battles is just waiting, and AWM is not something that you can use unless you are on point. Adam, backstab potential, will he be able to make it? But unfortunately, everyone else is in there in Onyx Olympus for the first booyah of the day.
What a game, what a battle. And we talked about Purgatory, we talked about how punishing Purgatory is whenever you are rotating, but what a surprise it was. So many teams, 8 squads still standing as we approach that final circle. That can only mean the quality has been up here. These players, they have studied these lobbies really, really well to survive long enough. But Neptune, only 1 team was able to contain the chaos. And it's the one and only Onyx Olympus. What a booyah this was, man.
Yeah, I do agree. Earlier, they were trying to go and survive on their own against teams like PE Esports, but they did lose out a couple of players, but recovery was just on point. I guess Pom is one of those players that's giving them more of the motivation, as well as Adam, who was added into the mix right now. And Adam is one of those rushers that is just fearless. So I'm really loving this kind of aggression coming from this squad.
Man. Neptune, oh Neptune, this was one hot game. You know, and it's crazy in terms of how good these teams are at surviving because we just had non-stop back-to-back action and we still had such a stacked lobby towards the very end. The recovery games are getting really strong, but unfortunately, Buriram just could not find the finisher onto Flash, right? I felt like the recovery game, just like I was highlighting earlier on, has been so strong that a lot of these teams are actually able to continuously farm on these same guys later on down in towards the final circles.
Yeah, and this is the failure. This is where Buriram United just falter in there. Most of the time, they go for the high ground, but they didn't jump far enough to get that angle away from some of the squad like Onyx Olympus or Gao Esports. But let's see. We're seeing 14 elimination out of one player from AGAL. That might be the game changer once we see in the game standing. But look at MVP. Adam, the comeback is real as he gets introduced and he's getting the first one.
Yeah, good on Adam. I feel like it was a really, overall fantastic play from the squad. But this guy was the one that was getting in those finishing shots as the rusher of the squad with the Valiant dash. Obviously, those glue walls that you erect in absolute panic is not going to be stopping him at all. And with the MP40, the rate of fire on that with the damage, you are going to be getting a lot of eliminations, and he walks away with 7, the most on his squad. Crime has 5 on his side, and obviously G'day and Poom. I felt like G'day's nades were the ones that were tossed in with such perfection. It's unfortunate that we don't see more elimination numbers on the side of G'day because this guy almost had a really, really good day.
Yeah, good day, good evening, good night. That's what he has to offer for the rest of the squad who's going against them. But looking at the double sniper setup as their intention on their active skill build with Poom on the Moors as well as Crime on the Skylar. And Crime was just in there, not distance from rest of the squad, but mostly in the front line. And that's one thing that they did corrected halfway through in that Purgatory map. So I am loving that they made that adjustment and also getting this booyah. But let's take a look at the game standings because there you have it. Because the number of elimination of AGL, they took the board 2 points away from Onyx Olympus.
Absolutely. Brilliant stuff here. AGL has 20 eliminations. 14 eliminations came from one player. The whole of Onyx had 15 eliminations. Cypher had 14. That's what AGAL is. AGAL is unreal. AGAL is I have no idea how they've managed to do this so consistently, continuously, season after season. The most improved Thai squad has to be AGAL. Gone are the days where we keep complaining that Dew does not have backup. Now, Dew needs to catch up.
Let's see if this is something that is really a part of the conversation because we know that when Cypher was introduced as a rusher, or when he stepped up as a rusher of a squad, he was just doing quite well, and he was just on point in all those M59 shots, the shotgun points or elimination that we've seen. And you did point out that Dew did get 11 points in one match, so Cypher just had to beat that. And I think what helped, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the God nades that was thrown final few players of Secret WAG. So that was just phenomenal. And the timing as well as the continuity out of the grenades was just on point, making them clutch that 2v4. But it's just unfortunate that they were less with numbers towards that final moment against Onyx. But again, they have put out a number, they have put out the elimination already, and I think they'll continue to do it towards the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't think that's unfortunate at all, right? Because AGL is just not one of those teams that are going to cry just because they didn't get the booyah. Because in their hearts, they know for a fact that they crushed that lobby in every way possible in terms of excitement as well as pure dominance. It's just that each and every single lobby, the circle's not always going to be on your side. The situation's not always going to be on your side. And they were just collapsed in, right? I think WAG had a really, really good angle against them, and they were trying to force the distractions out of all of the players. And, it's unfortunate that they lost Dew first, because one of the biggest reasons why Cypher has got so many numbers on him because as the rusher of the squad, he can be brave enough to run into situations and not worry about too much because he knows he's going to have Dew backing him up.
And that's good support coming in there, trust out of the squad. But let's see what the team has to say for the Booyah takers of this game. We're going to bring you to Indonesia and Onyx Olympus to hear what they had to say on the interview. So let's bring it over to the team.
Hey Survivor, back again with me Michelle, and now I'm with Adam from Onyx. Hi Adam! Hello Adam, you just joined Onyx today and you finally secured the Booyah. Wow, it's so amazing from Indonesia. Adam, kamu baru aja join Onyx hari ini loh, tapi kamu udah berhasil Booyah di match awal. Wah, ini super duper membanggakan Indonesia sekali Adam, luar biasa. Oke, sekarang aku mau tanya-tanya ya ke kamu. So now I have to ask Adam for a question. So for the first question, will this be a revenge mission for Onyx after they failed to secure a grand final setelah yesterday? Adam, nah akankah ini jadi bentuk pembalasan dendam untuk Onyx yang kemarin gagal dapat tiket grand final hari ini?
Iya sih, soalnya kan saya kemarin tuh di Surabaya juga. Kebetulan Onyx gak lolos juga sih.
Okay, I see. So Adam said that this impact has been really positive, so it will brings a good energy for today and makes their communication teams even better than last even at Surabaya. So for the second question, Adam, who do you think will be the biggest challenge to securing top 2 today and why? Adam, menurut kamu siapa sih yang paling menyulitkan atau yang menyulitkan kalian atau yang bisa dibilang saingan terberat kalian untuk bisa secure di top 2 hari ini dan menurut kamu kenapa?
Mungkin yang menyulitkan hari ini sih drop zone yang dekat kita aja sih kayaknya.
Okay, so Adam said that it's a bit rough revenge. They were practice and motivate to bounce back, and as they said that the nearest from their circle has been bounce back. And for the last question, Adam, how will you maintain your consistency today to secure a top 2 finish? Gimana sih kamu bisa menjaga konsistensi kamu di hari ini agar bisa secure di top 2?
Nggak tahu kayaknya, main aja udah.
Oh, okay, just played ya.
Yeah.
As Adam said that he just played for a better well in Indonesia, and he thinks every team can be a trade, but probably the teams around us in the standing, and they're also fighting for top 2, so they have to stay focused and not give them any easy for change. Thank you, Adam, and thank you, Survivor, and back again with the caster.
Thank you very, very much for the informative, session, Michelle. She managed to grill quite a lot of answers out of Adam. Obviously, some of them were a little lackluster, but I'm very sure Adam will find his excitement very soon once we see a little bit more consistency out of Onyx, right? Because he feels like, they didn't really perform all that too well in Surabaya. They're trying their best. They understand exactly where they have fallen short, and they're little by little putting in some of these fixes. And clearly it's working out then, and I feel like Onyx was not the strongest team out there, not the most aggressive team, but they positioned themselves really well, and they took every single opportunity that came their way, and that also meant chipping in to take out some of those Buriram players as well.
It's more of choosing their fights, and that's one thing that we've seen very often. We see very often from the past, especially in the top dogs, but seldom recent times, because there's the double sniper set up. But looking at that purgatory, one counter to that is to be aggressive. So for some squad, if you can close the distance, the double sniper setup will be broken, and that's what we've seen so many times for some squad right here. Onyx Olympus is one of those though who goes in and out of that flow. Because they can keep the distance, they just wait for opponents to run in their crosshairs, and that's when they take advantage of the situation. Not really going out and open and chasing elimination. So I'm really loving this kind of approach from Onyx, and they did mention that they try to stay within the circle, which some of the squad rarely do, even in the early parts of the game.
Absolutely. I think it's very, very difficult, right? Especially when you want to kind of just try to manage a situation around the circle, because more and more teams are now starting to hug this edge of the zone as they don't want to be the very first ones to get into the safe zone and then be the ones to get kicked out of it first, right? Because first in, first out, usually when it comes to prime real estate in some of these circles, which are just absolutely devastating. But thankfully in this purgatory this time around, we didn't see a situation like that. For one of those rare situations, we actually had a circle which did have quite a number of compounds to play around with on Purgatory. And I felt like that was the disaster for the side of AGAL, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they were stuck in one corner. A lot of squad, like Team Flash, was just going at them. And Du was just far away from the rest of the squad, thus he has been taken down, and that distraction cost them another player for the team. But speaking of compound, Nextera is one of those maps that has a number of compounds, and one reason why a lot of teams keep reviving, giving a lot of elimination when we add it up after the game. So let's see if the story continues for Nextera, because we're seeing a few of those maps as well coming off because of the aggression of the team.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, there's a conspiracy theory in our YouTube chat as well on whether or not this is a fake live, because Neptune and I are in the chat and at the same time casting as well. No, guys, it is definitely happening live. We just love you guys as much as we love these games, right? And under a minute, Neptune, we should be jumping into game number 2. Are we going to continue seeing the recovery play from some of these squads? Because at the end of the day, it's not just about some teams who are trying to play recovery. Because in phase 2, every day it's all about the top 2 squads who can rush up to the top and get the heck out of this part of the competition so that they can have a little bit of a holiday whilst the rest of them slug it out.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully not too much of a holiday, because there's still a lot of homework, a lot of VODs that needs to be done. They need to watch all the games as well and study their opponents, because you know how it is in Sun Tzu. The best way to study your or to win the battle is to find out what the weakness of your opponents are, and that's one thing that will give the advantage for the squad right now. As we go in prediction, there's no weakness right here. AGL, from what we've seen earlier, very aggressive. Twisted Mind, though, they did get a Booyah. They topped the board in this specific map, but I'm still looking for more out of the squad.
I'm pissed off because I put in my predictions before the day started. AGAL, they ramped up before I could predict them, right? So, so I don't know if or not this one's going to be accurate, but whatever the hell it is going to be, I know we are always going to have great matches at Nextera. And if you want to have some great matches as well as you hit those booyahs, make sure you check out the Buriram Champion Bundle that's coming your way very, very soon.
Let's see, and coming soon are the teams dropping and slicing through from Rustdown heading into Turbine. The squad is already dropping, and Gao is starting it off with some of the players of Team Flash and also a couple of players from Onyx in Mortar Ruins. They might be looking for Team Falcons, but look at Team Falcons within this vicinity, so that might be a lot of nation being taken by either squad, Gao and Team Falcons. Whatever green logo will be winning, I'm still on it.
Absolutely. Falcons, Pina up on top, Kar98, oh, broken gun in hand, and the Gao players just got away lucky because Pina's shot did not find the connection. But he's not going to let go of that prime spot up on top though. Faking a quick drop down and quickly repositioning himself right up on top for the advantage vertically up against his opponents. Gao versus Falcons, this is going to be a tough one because we haven't really seen the guns that the Gao players have in their hands. In the meantime, RRQ bumping into PE as well. Abe and Rans, a push coming through from Rans, but it is LBT that will catch him. And Abe all alone in a 1v2. Bedep turns the corner. Abe catches Bedep. And out of nowhere, Abe just strong-arming his way through that 1v2.
And Maal tipped his toes in that fight as well. Through the window, managed to take the shot. Let's see if they can pick up Dutz, because it will be a huge run for the squad right now to get into the next phase of the circle. And the pickup has been done, but the chase also is happening. Abe spots one of the players of Esports. Not quite sure if he did intentionally turn back. Just more of information, but the rest of the squad of RRQ is in trouble because here comes Twisted Mind.
That's some twisted way to get involved in this battle. RRQ, 3 eliminations in hand already, but they are quickly making their way towards the jump pad to make their flashy exit. They do not want to take this fight, but Dutz is going to be that one guy that holds the fort whilst the rest of the players back away. Ma'al understanding that taking the jump pad right now could just be a phenomenal risk. He, as the BSK player, does not want a hard reset. Renz is far away to control the situation with those revives if things do go south, but I think RRQ needs to figure out a way to fight this, and a great Riptide rhythm coming through from Ma'al from the back. Dude spots out Diamond. Diamond almost gets taken down, but the timing is great. Twisted Minds quickly collapsing into each other to make sure they've got the numbers advantage, and now Abe flanking in from the left. RRQ wants to take this fight.
Let's see if there's something that they can win.
Oh my God!
There's a couple of players. Dutz will be taken down. Doesn't have an angle to survive that fight. And you saw the angle that's being taken by Twisted Mind, the pinch that they are doing right now to prevent them from being rushed. But they did manage to go for a revive. Diamond is back, and RRQ still waiting for the opportunity. But here comes AGAL.
I mean, RRQ and Twisted Minds playing checkers with each other. It's P Esports and AGAL taking all of these knocks. Finally, jumping on out. Finding the knock onto Nameless as well. But Abe is there. Unable to shut down Jump just yet. Jump just took 3 back-to-back fights and is still up on his feet. Twisted Minds somehow survive, all thanks to the interference of AGAL. And then AGAL themselves got the floor wiped with their faces as the players of Twisted Mind stepped right back out. But the action looks like it just does not end today.
No ending for today. For this moment, Demon has been ended though. In spite of the great run that they have in Purgatory, they were eliminated first in this fight, and Lightning Zone still on, being triggered by BTR. Now let's see if Onyx Olympus will be able to take down Bigatron by Vitality, because even Team Falcons is being targeted out of this fight.
Oh yeah. Oh, beautiful backstep onto Kyong here. Riptide Rhythm from the back, but Onyx very quickly move into the Time Turner. And the Time Turner keeps them safe for the time being. Bigatron by Vitality just losing player after player, all thanks to Onyx. Sebank hitting the triple revival. The team is right back in it. Sebank might just get caught out here, but a majority of the job has already been executed by Sebank. Adam, can he get it? Woodpecker, shots, 1, 2, both misses. Sebank still stays alive.
Yeah, I think like if he doesn't have the Falco on him, I think he was just good enough on that drop. But let's see for the rest of the squad, Secret WAG and Onyx Olympus within this area. There's a lot of threats, and Secret WAG is one of those who didn't get that much of elimination. The moment they stepped in onto the crosshairs of AGL for Purgatory, they were eliminated. But now, I think it's a catch-up game for the squads to make sure that by the end of the day, they will end up in the top 2. But there's a lot of opponents that will need to be taken out for them to cross over this road.
Absolute cinema here with the pacing of this game. After all that action, we just slow the pace down once again just to check in with the rest of the squads here as to exactly how their recovery pace is going through. And WAG, after some interference earlier on, looks like they're having a little bit of a rough patch here. The players on the side of Onyx bumping into Bigatron by Vitality. Yet another revive as Twisted Minds finally runs out of luck, and of all hands in the hands of Obama's player.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we need to stop this prediction happening, because I think I'm cursing a lot of squad right here, especially Twisted Mind. But let's see. We have Sivenk still alive after that drop that he survived, but Onyx is on the hunt, on the roam, and there goes Backstab, but unfortunately didn't land that shot and will be targeted by Adam on that Woodpecker and the rest of the squad. But it is Nan from Secret WAG who lands a final blow and takes him down.
Absa, and it's going to be a little bit of a challenge here getting to Adam if they do not get it done quick. It's another team on the way in. Bigatron by Vitality on the other hand. Quick revival coming through here. Choose Kyong trying the best to get away. Falcons within the vicinity, and Flash looking for some extra points as well. But it looks like Bigatron is going to be making Zipway their recovery spot.
Well, if they can recover, then that would be good. They still have plenty of time. It's only first phase of the circle, and not everyone needs to be that aggressive. Some of the squad just need to find a rotation, find a good fight. and they might be able to get the final blow. But Decoy, together with Nan, then managed to land that blow, connected with basic therapy, takes an angle with the rest of the squad, but BTR in trouble once again, and they are almost out. If it wasn't for the couple of players that's still alive for the squad, but the revive marathon for Bigatron by Vitality continues, and it's not looking good.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate the boys just have been on these revival sprees. Recovery is obviously tough. Getting that loot back, getting those good guns after every single compound has been ravaged by these remaining players. Every single good loot has been picked up off of the ground already, unless you, of course, find one of the loot boxes of these players that get wasted out there. Get now finding himself one player on the side of RRQ. In fact, make that 2, make that 3. The guy's on fire right now, and RRQ does not like that.
Yeah, this is one thing that we loved to see from the past, but now he's making a comeback. So Getna is still high on the board in terms of elimination, but hopefully they will be able to survive a little bit longer compared to what we've seen happen in Purgatory. But for Vamos, they got a lot of elimination out of the squad, eliminated one team, to be exact. Twisted Mind, and a few more from Onyx Olympus is being taken. So 7 elimination, not too shabby for Vamos right now as they stay outside of the zone away from harm.
7 eliminations is a lot, and it looks like Jun has been having a lot of fun in this lobby with the eliminations that he has been walking around with. Surprising, because Axel's actually not hitting much. Looks like he is not in top form at this point of time. And that's a little unfortunate, right? Because this is the snipers meta, and Axel is definitely respected as one of the best snipers in Malaysia, if not the best sniper in Malaysia at most times. The man hasn't been able to find much in the day of play today.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. If your axle is moving wrong, then your car will be steering somewhere left and right. And that's what the team Vamos need to work at. But for Cypher, AWM in hand, and only needs Pixel Peak to make sure that he can land that shot, but unfortunately couldn't finish it off. They don't want to risk being eliminated early if they get close. But for June, it's Adam that is being distracted right now as Zues makes a run, and June lands that blow with a car 98k, and they are still at it with elimination, and it's looking good for Team Vamos right now.
Yeah, here comes AGAL. Flash is on fire, but AGAL wants to light them up on fire for reals. Burn them down to the ground. What a shot. ABCD, the connection from Dew. Spicy, forcing ABCD back. Those ice grenades are probably not going to be doing much to the players on the side of Flash just yet, but here comes Barros with yet another. That's a frag that finds the perfect connection onto Luan. Once again, forcing the medkits out of the Flash players. Cypher tossing one in. It's just a glue wall melted. That's just a prerequisite before they storm the front of the players. Ooh! And Minku will be the second one to fall as the god is found by a player from the side of PE from afar. This is unfortunate for the side of Flash as they quickly scramble. Barros, M79 in hand. The M590s will not find ABCD. His quick feet putting a lot of distance within him and Nameless. A 2v1 and ABCD as alive as he could run away long enough. That survival play finally comes to an end.
And you know how the saying goes, revenge is best served cold and early. And this is what AGAL has given to Team Flash. Because they did eliminate, or Team Flash eliminated a couple of players for AGAL earlier. Thus, they didn't survive that long for that booyah. But look at this, LBT. Peppering them with shots, but pretty sure if you get that Buriram Champion bundle, you would be hyped up that you will be getting away from shots similar to what we're seeing AGAL do as they defend themselves against PE Esports. But it's not only PE Esports that they need to worry, because Secret WAG also shooting at them, and even Vamos is getting too close, so AGAL might be in trouble in a bit. But another team in trouble is Onyx Olympus after a booyah. Will be saying goodbye a little bit early, because here comes United, knocking them down. Time even Team Falcons is within the area, and with Onyx Olympus is in trouble.
Oh, okay, now Buriram can't get out of this sticky situation. They'll have to take the fight up against Falcons. Obviously, they don't want to let go of the vending machine. The vending machine, as a matter of fact, is that little trap laid out here for Falcons. Step on in and take command off. Wasana cooking up that nade. That's not going to find Kororo, but Pina gets tagged up by that. 60% of that HP chucked away already by that phenomenal nade. Porpor out of the circle. Falcons are all split up. This is not looking good for them. In the meantime, AGAL doing battle up against Team Vamos. One already tagged up far behind enemy lines and is still surviving. Gets away with the Valiant Dash. Finally put down onto the ground by Suez. But Suez is caught by Nameless. AGAL still here with the dominance. One's going to get caught out here. Barros did not have his M590 out. But the moment he does pull out the gun, Vamos disappears.
And the one and only that we thought might be able to pull off that clutch was taken down. And Vamos will be out, but he did work with a lot of elimination in this battle. But a battle of Thailand, battle of giants, I would say. And Twin Bridge, it's Brim United against Team Falcons. The zone as well as a wall is just between them, and they just have to hustle because the rest of the squad is already taking point on the next phase of the circle, and it's not looking good for these two teams.
That's teamwork right there to get Moshi right back up onto his feet. And now Falcon's still alive and kicking. Going to get caught by Getna here. That's exactly what you get to try to sneak off a couple of points here. Wasana looking for the flank around the right-hand side. Gets tagged up, quickly backs away. Double glue wall, shots from afar as well. And Buriram being kept inside by RRQ. And Falcons will not be pressured because of those shots. Moshi trying a cheeky grenade, but that one wide. RRQ does not manage to stop Falcons in time. And that leads to a phenomenal rush. Buriram did not see that one coming in. A double knock on the ground. Getna with the M590 looking for one, but he's the final survivor of the Buriram squad. Finds Porpor. Pina found as well. Getna in the 1v3 of his life. Getna still surviving, but Pina, unfortunately, it's on fire that shows up at the very final moment they put an end to him.
Unfortunately, they got eliminated, and that could have been a clutch of the day.
Oh, yeah,
but Team Falcons, you can see how well they move, how well they time that approach, especially with the cooldown of that Valiant Dash, pushing or knocking back a couple of players and taking down one for BRU. But let's see if that would happen in this close quarter engagement between AGAL and RQ. Godnade being thrown by Barros, takes down Mal, and this might trigger another elimination. But on the other side, we have PE Esports against BTR. BTR is not so lucky this time around with the revival, and especially with the timing that they are taking, and PE Esports wins this fight.
At C1 now knocked down from afar. AGAL as well as RRQ going crazy. A base circling around, looking for the backstab. Finds exactly that. Cannot save Rans anymore, but he will make sure the AGAL players are not going to be picked up anytime soon. But Abe now in a 1v2. AGAL looking for revenge. Ma'al's shot from afar, and Abe is not alone. The super sniper of RRQ still giving him that support, but finally now left to survive as the players on the side of Falcons finds WAG in their crosshairs.
Pina and Porpor, both in the sniper, and they're doing quite well, trying the ascension of Secret WAG away from Abe, and they're saving Abe for the moment, and also Barros, but the Lightning Zone is spelling trouble for the rest of the squad. And the final four teams, the rotation being done by Falcons, in spite of not having a full squad, they're still that aggressive. Secret WAG is all prepared to do and deal with them.
Yeah, one man down already. Make that three men down. Wagam, not seven showing up. M590 and the ice grenades finding the perfect combo. And now Secret WAG pretty much has guaranteed themselves a booyah here unless something goes really, really wrong. What can Vietnam do to mess this up? Absolutely nothing, I think. Thailand ahead of them in two squads, Falcon and AGL, but only solo survivors on both teams. And you can say the same for RRQ as well, that only has Abe. BLS1 spots him out. Abe trying to quickly reposition, but will be prevented from doing so. And the circle's going to be tickling it from the back as well. Chances of Abe surviving this is going to be really, really rough, but he makes the jump!
Yeah, the containers save him together with the glue wall, and even in the sights of Secret WAG, he still survived. He can pepper those shots in Porpor, but Wang M beats them to it. Now, still, it's crucial. Abe doesn't have the CQC weapon that we are expecting him to have, and there goes Sequoia finishing off Barros. Still a full squad, and Secret WAG confirming this booyah for themselves. It might take a while, but it's just a matter of time if they manage to pull it off, and Secret WAG did it.
Man, I can't lie. I was expecting some magic out of Abe there, but taking on 4 players from the side of WAG maybe was asking for a little bit too much. Yes, he did manage to get that one knock. The M590 probably, just not fast enough to assist him in the 2 back-to-back. But of course, we saw Getna do it earlier on. Buriram, the monster from Buriram, is still lying within that guy. But at the end of the day, it is going to be WAG that smiles wide once again. Vietnam, we expected them to wake up a little bit earlier, but I don't care. As long as it happens, it doesn't matter which game it comes through in.
Earlier, they did get 3rd place, but only 4 elimination. Now they caught up with those elimination already together with Booyah. But is that enough? Is that enough to take the number 1 spot? Because we've seen a lot of aggression out of AGAL. Though the Booyah is still being denied out of them. The same goes with the championship. But sorry. But they're still making so much headway in terms of elimination that it might be difficult for any other team to catch up that easily.
Yeah, you most definitely are right, man. AGL, again on fire. Probably not the Booyah once again, but 15 eliminations is not too bad at all for them, right? And yes, WAG did very, very well for themselves. It was just a little bit unfortunate that the rest of the teams like RRQ just could not have enough numbers towards that final circle. This was a very rough game for RRQ because I think they were really trying to hold back until they got towards that final zone, but they just kept being forced into these engagements a little bit too early. At one point, it was RRQ that was putting pressure on both Buriram as well as Falcons as they were having the fight at Twin Bridge.
It's more of positioning and communication as well, because there was one instance where Duts was just a little bit too close on, I think in boxing gym, and like a couple of players from a different squad is already pinching him, and the backup is very delayed for that squad. So RQ needs to work on that. But for our MVP from Secret WAG's Wang M with not so much of elimination, but look at the assist. 8 assists out of the team. So even in damage, bro, 2,188. He's a bomber of his squad, and the combination of Beastin and A124 is phenomenal. And let's not forget the Alvaro that is in good contention if you have those nades or ice grenades to be thrown at your opponents. And I guess that's a winning ways that we witness in this next era.
And it's good to see that the A124 is still very much viable even in the current state of things, right? It's not all just about the double side setup, the, just going in there with your Skyless, your Riptide Rhythms, trying to rip apart all of the defenses. It seems like WAG that really makes me fall in love with Free Fire once again, showing us that you don't really need to play on the meta necessarily. Sometimes you can play to the strength of your own squad. And the strength of WAG in this game was the element of surprise. They still did have that Riptide Rhythm though. Without the Morse, without the sneaking around on the battlefield, this tied up things very, very well for them. And they also knew that they needed the help of that electrotherapy off of that Cassie to make sure T Kui was going to be that super tank on the front lines. And I felt like everything worked out for them perfectly.
And this is 2 seasons back, like in terms of build, in terms of active skills. So I'm really loving that they're still playing with their strengths, as you pointed out. So this is what Secret WAG is putting up right now, going against the grain of the double sniper setup. And you've seen the rotation. It's quite quick as well. And that's one thing, that's a comparison between the two metas. The old meta and the new meta, it deals with the speed of how you rotate, because you need a distance if you want to go for double snipers. But for a squad like this, like Secret WAG, and I think I pointed this out on the previous game, wherein if you want to counter the double sniper, you just have to get close and personal with your other squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for some of the other teams who didn't really do so well, because if you look down towards the bottom of the leaderboard, a majority of these teams actually walked away with double digits. The teams that did not, 2 out of the 3 teams are from Thailand. It's Buriram and Twisted Minds down here with the single digits off of this map. And I'm absolutely shocked, Neptune, because Nextera, a map which is, some of your CQCs, you usually see Buriram walk away with a ton of eliminations on, is just not happening anymore ever since they tried to also veer themselves towards the double snipe setup. Moshi's not hitting those shots the way he usually does. Jonah's trying his best to step it up. But on the front lines, you really don't see the heavy impact of Wasana at this point. If anything, it has gone back to the times where Getna has to get involved and pull in the numbers for the squad.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was somewhat in the latter part of one of the seasons in Southeast Asia that this exact ways of Brim United is showing. Because it's only Getna who's landing those shots. Wasana is not even a support. He's a rusher, but he's being the shield of both Getna and Wasana, which is not bad, but the rotation is quite off. There's something wrong that is happening for this squad at the moment, but I'm pretty sure this is also part of the plan for BRU, because most of the time they're slow at the beginning and then they catch up once they caught up with the aggression as well as the tactics of the other squad.
Yeah, whatever that's happening right now, I mean, you can't go from 3-time world champs to losers the next day, right? There's something definitely cooking in the background, in the kitchen of Buriram. We just don't know what the recipe is. We can kind of make some assumptions based on the smell that's coming out of the kitchen, but whether you get it right or not, we can only tell after we taste the dish. That dish is going to be served at our Free Fire World Series Global Finals later on in Bangkok, right? I don't think they're going to give it up just yet, but does that mean they're going to be throwing away C4 down the drain? I don't think so as well. I feel like the phase is just too early for a monster like Buriram to wake up. I just think they did not expect that interference out of RRQ there. They were very much hyper-focused on taking Falcons out. They knew 4 players were right outside that wall. They were trying to toss nades at them. They were trying to shoot at them with their M590s. They were overextending, and this is where you started seeing the shots come through from RRQ. And I think in that panic of trying to run away from the RRQ shots is where you saw Buriram mess up. And it's so rare to see Buriram try to go for 4 points but not check their surroundings before doing that.
I do agree. It's rare that we see that from BRU, and probably it's because of the switch of skills that they're using. Because if Jonah uses that coda they often use out of like the CQC gameplay that they have, the 3-1 split, then he might have spotted the position of Team Falcons. Those nades would have landed quite well instead of just like air balls, if not overshooting those nades, and that's what threw them apart from the rest of the squad. That threw them apart from their usual gameplay. So I think going with the flow is throwing off their play, their game at the moment, their flow at the moment. But let's see if this will be fixed in Solar, because looking at the numbers out of this squad, it's not looking good for them.
I mean, it's great if it doesn't look great for them because the other teams are able to wake up. Onyx has been able to wake up. Secret WAG has been able to wake up. Guess what? Both of them have been SEA champions. How crazy is that? I want more from them for sure. But both of them, both these teams who are in the conversation right now, Onyx as well as Secret WAG, when they won, they became the kings of Southeast Asia. Many people out there question the legitimacy of their victory. Like they always want to question, is this a team that got lucky? Brother, let me say this. If you get into the Southeast Asian lobby, you manage to activate Champion Rush, and then you walk away with it, there's no luck about that because nobody gets that done in an easy way, Neptune.
I do agree, and I think the same story goes for some of the squad out here who's not a top dog. Well, let's see if this is something that can be countered with other squad. Like luck is something that you work for yourself. You have to make your own luck, and that's what some of the squad has been doing. Like doing the homework, making sure the rotation is fine. Those accuracy or the accuracy of those shots needs to be on point, and for early parts of phase 2 there's still a few of those adjustments that can be done, those mistakes that can be let go for the moment. So let's see if this is something that we might see more often in the latter part of the game, because we're now jumping into our third match, and our prediction, I'm going with Team Falcons, you're going with Brim United, and they did went up against each other earlier, and sorry to say, bro, Falcons won.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You know, that's crazy, man. You know, Bigatron by Vitality is just one of those teams also, right, Neptune, that has taken a little bit of cognizance of the fact that, okay, maybe their setup for the start of the day is not the best. And they have gone in here for a substitution. They take out their newly added player, Teus, and they add another new player, the one called the Fellow, right? So let's see what the Fellow can do here in the Solara map on the side of Bigatron by Vitality, who have accumulatively picked up 17 total points from the past 2 games. Not their best run so far, but obviously it's kind of like a 50% new roster. So I think we need to give them a little bit of time to catch up.
Yeah, let's see what this fellow can do at this point, as we are looking at some of the squad already dropping in. Flight path is in between, or coming from between Echo Drain and Bayside, heading in towards Waterfall. And you know where the drop spot of some squads would be, the hub as well as Riders Glove for Burem United and Team Falcons respectively. And Archway will be taken by BTR. A few engagements happening in the middle of the map, but I don't think they're close enough to go for that rush or that risky elimination, but we might see it otherwise on a little matchup like this from Pichu as well as LBT, where in the Mini Uzi was just on point, especially from Pichu.
Yeah, early game, that one was just premature. The Bass though, a sliver of health, too low on that HP to take the fight up against two Mini Uzis, and he will expire, unfortunately. But of course, that was a well-calculated, aggressive drop there. The rest of his players are far, far away, so a revive is not going to be too tough for the squad, I assume. But Flash with 3 eliminations already just making me a little nervous now.
Well, don't be nervous. It's still early. I think there's a few things that can be done right now, and there's a little bit slowdown at this moment. So at this point, there's a little bit of glimpse of hope, but FFWS Wang M, our MVP, caught off guard out of nowhere, and there's no backup that's coming in very soon. So I guess Vamos is capitalizing on that, getting 1 point. We still have more than a minute until the next phase closes in, and they're already on their way to Bloomtown, probably tracking the approach of the FFWS. But look at the split from PLS1 as well as Non-7. It's not looking for the squad. They might be eliminated quite easily, but look at Tikui far away, and June might spot him as well.
Yeah, man, Vamos is trying to flank around WAG, but they have put themselves into a position where they are the ones who are getting flanked here. Wang Am's dropping in as well. So, God forbid, Vamos did not see that drop. It's going to be a tad bit more difficult for them. Now, here comes another engagement. It's going to be Gao S against PE, the civil war between the two Vietnamese squads. Perhaps watched also by Twisted Minds. They jump in, LBT getting that knock, but MThai is there for the quick trade out. LBT bleeding out on the ground. Bedep has to pull away from that engagement, jumps right back in, up against Gao with the Mag 7. Wild sprays. And Bedep will not be able to get the elimination just like that, but the knock more than yes for him. PE Sports, on the other hand, will just walk away from that situation like nothing ever happened, and Gao on that recovery place.
Bro, does LBT has a Raphael on him? I don't think so, but he was, footsteps was not heard. He was just in there against Gao, and no one expected that. So that's quite a move, and probably a speed from LBT. He might have used a vehicle and threw off the audio cues out of the team of Gao Esports, but there's no throwing off the squad like AGAL as they gang up against Adam, and even Poom cannot do anything around that, even if they are faced with the Bolt Maker, and Nameless can easily be picked up, but Cypher being shot at by Poom, not so good. And it's a good thing that he was not struck by any bolts at the moment, otherwise he could have been knocked down.
Dude, Poom is just on fire, but of course, you cannot match up against you. Just the better sniper out there on the battlefield. Cypher now going in for the CQs. He finds Nero! But Nero with the M79 says, I found you first, buddy. Got you baited. Went in, got absolutely blown up by the grenade launcher. Now Bedep up against Nameless. Pulls out the time turner. Bedep, Mag 7 in hand. Nameless is at a big disadvantage here. He steps right back into the defense. And Nameless walks straight into that one. Bedep saw it coming and took the elimination like a champ. But it's not over just yet for PE Sports. The players on the side of Onyx are going to get caught out as well. Crime will be caught. And this is LBT cleaning up house. PE Sports with 6 eliminations and counting.
I'm pretty sure execution saves a bullet, but not in crucial moments like that, because someone can jump in at you and shoot you down, even with a double revolver. That's what just happened. But for Team Falcons, it's a 1v2 situation for On Fire and the God, as well as a few more players in here. But look at that jump as well, the shot. No chance for Team Flash to breathe at all, and the rest of Team Falcons is now running in. Only one player left for Team Flash, and I don't think they are near to any vending machine at the moment.
I mean, the vending machines are there to serve you, but you just gotta be close enough to take advantage of it. And of course, gotta make sure daddy gave you some pocket money, or else you're gonna be calling him from the vending machine. And I don't think he's gonna answer the phone. Jonah, M82B in hand. M-Thai, you make one wrong move. Jonah's gonna clip you for sure. Ice grenades on the toss. M-Thai is found. Oh, the follow-up on the shot and forces M-Thai to pull out the time turner. Moshi now with the CQC, with the AWM. Madman Moshi is going to do it, but Wasana is the one with the follow-up in the AC-80. It's a 3v1. Buriram definitely looking serious, and they want more. Pichu has been spotted out as well. This is the kind of map where you can close the distance instantaneously. Vamos, on the other hand, Riptide Rhythm from afar, and Bigatron by Vitality looking to collapse in on them. They take one out first. Suez with the Max 7 trying to hold the fort. Kyung pulls out the time turner in panic as Fellow gets knocked down to the ground, and this is Vamos fighting right back. Sibek's not done just yet, but it's a 2-for-2, and Vamos has the advantage.
I mean, BTR with Fellow, really aggressive, but execution, as well as the backup coming from the rest of the squad, is not that fast. And hopefully the recovery will be that quick for BTR, because solo mission out of 100 players for BTR will not be looking good, especially for Sibank, because we've seen Sibank survive, but not for long, especially in moments wherein it gets close in the middle part of the game. But lucky for them, it's only the first phase of the circle going into second, and they might be able to revive most of them, and there goes Koja back in the fray.
Oh, boom. Opportunity spots Jun. Just not the right gun in his hands. The speed just not on his side at this point of time. With the Morse, can quickly try to reposition here, but is going to try to top his health up right quick first. Deal with the AWM. M82B in hand as well. As I talk about him, he finds LBT. Barros finds better. PE Sports backed and sent back to the lobby by AGAL. Yeah, you dropped that emote, baby. 6-7 indeed. You is on fire. Just like how he got up the leaderboard earlier on with the elimination. Better not flex too much, dude, because the game's not over just yet.
Yeah, let's see if he'll be affected by a Moth curse. There's a lot of curse that has been happening in tournaments just like this, whether it's a Booyah curse or Caster curse and a Moth curse. But at this point, I mean, I trust Ju and AJL that they might be able to recover and probably grab a Booyah in this fight. But let's see if this will happen for Twisted Mind as they fight against Team Falcons. And we've seen Twisted Mind fail so many times. Now it's a 1v2 situation. The boss is just pulling on fire in, and even with a step feed, the shots didn't land that quick in the pass. Will need to pull away from that engagement. Tag with A124, but Pina is now joining the party, and it's not looking good for Twisted Mind unless backup comes in.
Oh, that's a wrong move there with the glue wall, but it looks like the Bass quickly managed to find that recovery. A124 clips in the players on the side of Twisted Minds, but they just want to depend on their gunfights, but Porpor is there, and Porpor will rule. Porpor with the triple! And Twisted Minds find their twisted ways out of the lobby. Unfortunate for them. Falcons just too good in that situation. Porpor up close and personal. Just snipe them all the way back into the lobby. And the action not dying off just yet. Now you've got Gao. Now you've got Bigatron. They do battle. Koja down on the ground. Could not recover quick enough. Fellow has got the time turner here. Sipang up on the high ground. Looking to protect the rest of the team members. M-Thai just walking away real quick. Fellow turns around 180. M-Thai gets clipped. Kyung almost gets caught out, Neptune. But somehow still survives.
As Sivenk was just helping out in there, despite of a quick movement coming from Gao, they did manage to gang up on them. And now Sivenk has a demon on his crosshairs as well as tag him up. Here comes Fellow! And the combination of both just eliminated Gao Esports. So all they have to do right now is revive Koja, and they can get back in the next phase of the zone. But the only question though is there a place they can drop or jump in that's not occupied by a different squad?
That just took too long, man. I was like, is this fight going to end already? I'm running out of breath. AGAL hopping on in there. Axel in a tight little spot here. It's a 2v1 situation. They've got the electrotherapy connected as well. The two other players, Nameless and Cypher, looking to join them on the slide rails at this point of time, looking for the reposition. And Vamos is the only ones who are going to be standing in their way. The AGL needs to be careful. As I say that, you gets knocked down to the ground. It's Jun and the perfect AWM shot, but the recovery is going to be fairly quick here. Deuce right back up. No, Jun actually takes him out. They could not recover Dew, and Jun and squad rushes on in. Cypher finds the M590 knock. Pulls out the Valiant Dash as well, breaking down the defenses, and Nameless gets there just in time to knock one out of the equation, and Moshi arrives. Buriram interfering in this battle.
Oh, Moshi just saved AGAL for the moment, and Vamos is not looking good. I mean, they were quite well, and now BRU taking advantage of this situation. The pickup's being done on the Axel, but here comes Buriram United, who might clean up AGAL, give an opportunity for Vamos to get away, and they're doing just that. AGAL out of the fight. We have 8 teams remaining, and now they miss out on eliminating Vamos.
Damn it, Neptune, your team did it, man. What in the world did you feed them? They are looking monstrous right now. You fed them with a little bit of extra supportive energy. See, it's not a curse. It's definitely a blessing in this situation. This will find Jun from the side of Vamos. Vamos already had a lot of fun in the earlier bit of the battle, and now they're outnumbered. RRQ should be able to take Axel out of the equation here and put an end to Vamos, unless, of course, Axel finds a miraculous rotation round to the vending machine. He's right beside it, but he's going to be spotted out, and that's about it for Axel and Vamos.
Yeah, the Axel was tagged up, scanned, and now being taken out. With only 2 elimination, RRQ is not looking that fit in terms of the numbers, but I guess it's more of position that they're working on right now. Survivability and final circle is where the other squad who grabbed the Puya has been doing quite well. But Onyx putting so much pressure on Onyx, or Buriram United is putting so much pressure on Onyx. And also with Team Flash on the other side, I don't think Onyx will be able to roll out of this.
Let's see how they handle the situation, because it looks like this next circle is still with them. So the next compound but the circle moves to is going to be pretty much the determining factor as to which team gets extremely unlucky, because you'll have to rotate in the midst of 6 other squads who will obviously have at a minimum 1 sniper on the squad. If you're unlucky, it's going to be the double snipe setup. Now Porpo getting tagged up from afar. It's 2 teams working together at the same time. Falcons losing player after player. Pina taken out of the equation. Porpo gets taken down by the circle. It's now all up to Kororo. Riptide Rhythm sent the way of Falcons as well. Kororo will not be able to save any of his buddies, and it's just a matter of time before he gets knocked down to the ground as well as the final survivor on the side of Falcons.
The zone's catching up, but Team Flash right now might be a little bit distracted. A few of those players from Onyx Olympus just right behind them, and they will need to be careful. There's real little chance for Team Falcons to go for a revive, but Guerrero lands a shot on N1, so Team Flash will be distracted for the moment, but unfortunately, he gets eliminated by the Blue. So Buriram United has a chance right now to win that prediction run.
Yeah, and they absolutely send a fantastic Riptide Rhythm the way of the players on the side of Onyx, forcing them to all scramble, and that gives the opening for Flash as well to take those shots, and it's now Buriram as well as Flash taking those shots up against Onyx, pulling away elimination after elimination, potentially here Getna making one small mistake, but he will still stay alive. The extreme encounter keeping him up on his feet. Moshi joins the fight up close and personal as well with the AWM, and Onyx just does not survive that onslaught.
This is what we're talking about for Buriram United. And it's not as if they're pulling away from double sniper setup. In most instances, we've seen even a marksman being used. So it's a 4 long-range weapon. But Wasana will be taken out from the other side. RRQ is just dipping their fingers in here as BTR is distracting BRU. In and out of the time turner. Koja tries to land a shot with M24. But unfortunately, they did lose Kyong and Fellow. But will they be able to confirm this? There goes Koja. Back at it again. Getna is taken out. Is now left to Moshi.
What can Moshi do? The circle tagging him up, pressured by Sibank as well. Koja, Bigatron by Vitality have got two options up against Moshi here, and Koja takes the first perfect shot, forcing Moshi outside the circle. Moshi barricades himself outside the zone. Don't end things like this, Moshi. He's looking for that med kit, but Sibank with the ice grenade follow-up, double on the take, will find the final elimination on the Buriram player. And it's all left now to two teams from Vietnam, two teams from Indonesia to look for the booyah.
But Koja and Sibank in trouble because Baal has been eyeing at them as well as the rest of RRQ for the longest time. But here, trying to cut off any approach that BTR is doing is Team Flash, and Koja will be taken out from downtown. PLS1 goes for the elimination. The finisher from the Godnade coming from Minku. Now, Sibank going solo. They know. Flash knows that he is in there. But RRQ's not doing that much because of the cover that the container has given them. But he goes for the stealth bites, will be able to save him and probably force RRQ to battle against Team Flash.
It's a circle movement that is going to be favoring WAG as well as Team Flash here. RRQ are the ones at a disadvantage, and therefore they will be the first ones to make the move because they know they will be punished on a late move by both these squads here. And the priorities are flying towards the right-hand side. Glue wall melters taking down those defenses, but instant glue walls erected once again by Team Flash. UAV taken out of the equation as well. Ma'al with the super quick snipes there just to play the pressure, just to play a little bit more aggression up against Flash, and then forces Flash deep in towards the next zone, and RRQ right behind them. WAG's been given free reign, free rotation around the left, and Flash is going to be in trouble because of that. And the follow-up by Nan, and Minku down on the ground quickly expires. Steffi has been popped, but I think the jig is up. Flash about to get smashed between the two Titans.
It's just unfortunate for Flash. They were aggressive. They have a good plan, but here comes RRQ ruining all of that against them with 5 elimination. They are very close to the next phase of the circle, but the battle continues. A couple players of Team Flash is still at it, and ABCD might be able to take those shots. Same word with the God, but he has been spotted, tracked down with that Riptide Rhythm, but ABCD is cooking a nade. Ma'al gets away in perfect timing, and they remain a full squad who might fight against Secret WAG.
Bigatron by Vitality cannot walk away with the booyah here. It looks impossible, but if Sibank pulls off some miracle of that circle play, that's not going to happen. And the God makes sure of that with the Car 98. The man was already way too low. Didn't need a Car 98 to sort that out, but he took that shot. And that might just be the last one that the guy takes. Flash now left with just 2 more survivors, ABCD as well as the God, both on their tummies. RRQ up against WAG. Obviously, WAG with a very big advantage here towards the center of the circle. RRQ will need to make the first move here. Question is, what's going to be that active skill that gives them the edge when they do start making the move?
Well, this is something that we have to wait. I think the reason why they're not moving is because the cooldown is still on, and also the shift of the circle is what they have been waiting for. But God and ABCD forced out in the shadows. And will they be able to fight against RRQ before Secret WAG rushes in?
The circle now, squeezing everybody in. Again, Secret WAG with the massive advantage. But Tiku is not going to be waiting for them. He cuts the distance, pulls away the left-hand side flank, just using the ridge there. Now stepping into the water. Tiku AC-80. UAV taken out of the air already in one arm with the coordinate. ABCD out of the equation. Dudes now with the AWM, trying to flank around from the left-hand side. Rance has got the Mag 7 in hand, but too low on that HP. Finally taken down by the circle as well as PLS1 and the Car 98. RRQ collapsing in. Nan 7 has got the electrotherapy connected. And it is PLS1 with a majority of the damage there on RRQ as Secret WAG walks away with a back-to-back booyah.
And who has been questioning Secret WAG? This is what they have to offer right now. And it's not as if they are pulling away from those engagements. They are very proactive. They're keeping a distance, and they know that they have the capability to do so. Look at how they position, if you remember how they positioned themselves against Team Flash before they jump in, that's just perfection in terms of positioning. So hopefully this is something that we see more of from Secret WAG, and also more numbers in elimination, because despite of getting the booyah, they're not putting out that much of numbers, but I'm all for it. Find a final circle, make sure that you remain consistent in the placement, and then you can add more elimination later on.
I mean, this was a phenomenal decision-making example here by Secret WAG, understanding the zone, understanding what was going to be their biggest advantage. Their biggest advantage was going to be zip your mouth up tight, don't shoot unnecessarily, just focus on finding a better defensive spot in the circle. Now, if RRQ had chosen to flank around the left-hand side, perhaps things would have been a little bit different. Unfortunately, the terrain was against them, right? They could only move towards the right, and they chose to attack Flash instead. And this is where Secret WAG again played their advantage, Neptune. They were from afar, they were taking cheap shots at Flash, and obviously, it's no holds barred at that point of time. RRQ managed to overwhelm them from the front, and that brought a very early end to Team Flash. But it was Secret WAG using that bridge as that point, as well as with the proactiveness. Once they saw RRQ starting to rotate, they rushed towards them as well, and that totally caught RRQ off guard.
The Valiant dash is something that they didn't expect in that situation, because in a few moments before that happened, they were just trying to recover. They're trying to pick up themselves, but unfortunately they faltered. But MVP for that game, Secret WAG's PLS1, 4 elimination, 3 assists, but look at the damage, close to 5,000 with that Riptide Rhythm, and more of a standard build for a sniper other than the Suzy that is very viable in situations like this.
Yeah, like I said, man, this guy was a menace out there with the Kar 98. PLS1 is absolutely broken. First of all, the gun is broken in this guy's hands. The game is broken because PLS1, whether he gets those eliminations or not, you know you are going to get shot. And you know you're constantly going to be forced to use your medkit, which means you cannot participate actively in the battle, which means your team is going to have a lot of trouble. And that is what PLS1 was doing continuously up against Team Flash when they were rotating as well, really not giving their Vietnamese brothers any chance to recover or survive. And of course, RRQ brought that one to a quick end. In terms of numbers, Neptune, this is not a very heavy game from the side of WAG. But it doesn't matter, because what we always look for, it's that consistency. And this is exactly what Secret WAG has showed us game after game, back to back now, with this 2 seasons ago kind of meta that's still working perfect for them. Again, just because the best way to win right now is the double snipes does not mean you have to follow the flock. You can definitely pave your own path, and that's exactly what Secret WAG is perfecting right now.
And from what I'm seeing out of Secret WAG, they still have the potential of using the double snipe, the triple snipe, or even everyone on long-range weapon. It's just that they know that towards the end, if they want to get the Booyah, this 3-1 setup in terms of active skill build that they have right now is viable. It worked in the previous game in Nextera, it is working in Solara, but the numbers is not that much as what we've seen right here, but it's good enough that they managed to beat Brim United out of this game despite of the 14 elimination that BRU managed to pull off, and they didn't even place that high. Only 6 on placement points for BRU.
Absolutely. I think, it was just a premature run here, a premature end for Buriram in this particular lobby. I think they were on fire. Rotation-wise, that's exactly where they got caught out. And it is pretty much the same story for a lot of the teams here, right? Survival, capability has definitely increased multifold in our Southeast Asian lobby, and the teams are definitely finding it very, very difficult to survive until the final circle, mainly because of the sheer number of squads that we have fighting for those defensive spots. And through all of that chaos, without a single Booyah, AGAL will still sit on that #1 spot, with WAG now knocking on their door.
Yeah, and despite of them not putting so much in this fight, I guess they will be able to they will be able to secure a few more. The gap is not that much against AGAL and Secret WAG, but that was more of a placement that they need to work on for AGAL at the moment. But again, we still are on a first half of this day. There's still a few more chances, and AGAL has managed to taking a team of the day, not like most instances, not only once, but probably this is the second for them in phase 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's aiming for the team of the day, and this is what's beautiful about that extra bonus that we've got on the table, right? Even if you are one of the top dogs who know you can perform, now there's a little bit more of an incentive to not slack off, even though there are no repercussions repercussions, right? And I'm very sure EVOS may have looked like, yes, they are not playing, but I'm pretty sure they are aiming to conquer the team of the day each and every single match they are a part of later on once these monsters get out of their way. Because, EVOS Divine, they haven't been looking their good old self without Russia. I felt like, with the loss of their sniper, replacing him has become a very big challenge for the squad in the season, Neptune.
I would agree and no. I would agree and not agree.
Yeah.
Because at some point, even in the previous season, if we see the trajectory of EVOS Divine in Phase 2, they stretch it towards the end.
Yep.
Initially, we're thinking it was intentional because they were even like goofing around when the camera is on them. But there's still a lot of question right now if this is something that they can pull off this time around. Razia is not here anymore, and there's a lot that the rest of the squad can and needs to prove at this point. But that's still a question in my mind. Once they played, I think they will be able to give us a little bit of answer in terms of their performance.
Absolutely looking forward to that. For sure, right? We all want to see exactly what is their step up because, yes, I do believe they were fooling around in the previous season. In this season, they did look a little bit more serious, wanting to prove themselves out there. It's just that the lobby is not the easiest one to navigate, right? Clearly, from what we can see here today as well. I mean, you've got teams like Twisted Minds who are still finding it to be a little bit of a struggle to find their footing out there. You've got teams like Falcons stumbling today as well. I mean, remember how Falcons opened up in the first week as opposed to the Falcons that has opened up today. A very different version of them we get. And, on that same line, in that same breath, you see the performance out of Team Vamos. Vamos is not finding those final circles, Neptune. But today, Vamos is finding some solid eliminations.
And then there's something about the groupings as well as being stuck with the top 12 in Phase 2. And that's probably something that we need to put a little bit of research on, or probably study a little bit more, put it under a microscope. Because I do agree, there's a lot of differences in terms of teams. But imagine 2 weeks of just playing with the same group, and you're anticipating the next group that you're playing in the next few days. So I guess a plan can be done, but at this point, you've seen the best of the best already out of the 18 teams that we have, and they are now chucked into one lobby for day number 1 of Phase 2. So there's a little bit of adjustment that needs to be done, or is being done, thus the different result that we've seen compared to the Phase 1 of this tournament.
Absolutely, man. And we definitely need to give praise to Secret WAG, not just for the back-to-back Booyah, but they have managed to get into the top 3 times in a row. Every single game today, you've seen Secret WAG get into that final circle, and it's a very impressive run for the squad that hasn't really been the most lethal team out there for us to all look and fear. For the other teams, I don't really think they were thinking of Secret WAG to be the ones at the very top dominating today, but I feel like that's exactly what we're going to have by the end of this. If AGL does not wake up, if Buriram does not change a little bit of their strategies out there and start picking up some solid aggressive eliminations as well.
I'm really looking forward to that kind of approach coming from Secret WAG and the rest of the squad to adapt to that. But we're going to go for an interview right now, and we're going to give you to AGL to hear what they had to say about the first 3 games. So let's head over to the interview.
Now we're with the hottest team who is currently in the top 1 in the leaderboard. ตอนนี้นะคะเราก็อยู่กับทีมที่มาแรงมากๆแล้วก็เป็นหัวตารางตอนนี้ซึ่งก็คือทีม
AJ ครับ
AGAL นั่นเองนะคะตอนนี้อยู่กับใครเอ่ย
กับ AGL ครับ
AGAL Deal นั่นเอง so you guys know that you are currently a top 1 right ตอนนี้รู้ใช่ไหมว่าเป็นที่ 1
ก็รู้ตั้งแต่เกิดครับ
He's know that he's the top 1 since his birth and as the current leaders you guys brought a lot of aggression today from cutting off rotation to pulling off third parties. What's the deliberate shift in your strategy from the first phase? ก็คือวันนี้เนี่ยสังเกตได้ว่ามีการเปลี่ยนแผนการเล่นเช่นการเปลี่ยนแผนการเดินต่างๆอยากรู้ว่ามีการเปลี่ยนยังไงบ้าง
ก็เปลี่ยนจากเล่นสไนด์2เป็นเล่นสไนด์1ครับ
So his team changed from 2 snipers to the only 1 snipers. So and you guys have been incredibly consistent today. Like previous season, are you confident that this momentum will take you to the grand finals? ตอนนี้เนี่ยทีมเสถียรมากเหมือนกับซีซั่นที่แล้วเลยคิดว่า ฟอร์มแบบนี้เนี่ยสามารถพาเราไปแกรนด์ไฟนอลในวันนี้ได้ไหมคะ
ก็อย่างที่สัมภาษณ์ตอนแรกครับก็คือผมมาเอาที่1ครับที่เหลือก็น่าจะชิงที่2กัน
Like I said in my first interview, we are here for the top one only, and other team probably in like top 2. And today's lobby consists of 12 strongest team. So if you manage to be in the top 2 in today, which other team you predict to join the grand final? ก็คือตอนนี้เนี่ยเราแข่งกับ12ทีมที่โหดที่สุดของการแข่งขันครั้งนี้แล้วก็เลยอยากถามว่าถ้าเราจบในท็อป2ก็คือเป็น1ใน2คิดว่าอีกทีมหนึ่งที่จะได้ไป Global Grand Final กับเราวันนี้เนี่ยเป็นทีมไหน
น่าจะทวิตเต็ดครับทวิตเต็ดมาครับ
He guessed it probably Twisted Mind Why ทำไมล่ะคะ
เพราะว่าเขาเล่นแบบว่าเป็นทีมระดับจักรวาลครับ
เป็นทีมระดับอะไรนะ
ระดับจักรวาล
ระดับจักรวาล He said probably Twisted Mind because they are the best team I know so far and that is the interview from our side for now let's have some break and let's see what will happen in game 4 ตอนนี้กลับไปพักกันสักครู่แล้วมาพบกันในเกม4ดีกว่าค่ะบ๊ายบาย
Nah, I can't tell. I really cannot tell if he's just trying to burn Twisted Minds or he's actually trying to motivate Twisted Minds because Twisted Minds is not looking too great out there at this point of time, Neptune.
Sorry, I have them in my prediction in one of the games, but it's just unfortunate that they didn't put out so much of points after 3 games, only 9. And this is something I don't expect out of Twisted Mind, so hopefully they can get out of this rut, otherwise it'll be a rut all the way.
Yeah, it's going to be... You're all going to be twisted in a rut. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, yes, Twisted Minds are at the bottom of the leaderboard right now with only 9 points collected after 3 games are done. We only have 3 more matches. I think it's safe to say they are not going to be going to the grand finals today. But there are a few teams out there, Neptune, that are on the way there. AGAL, Secret WAG, Onyx, Buriram are all very close up to the top. Some of them are right there. But of course, to bring you guys all of that entertainment, it's going to be Lucifer and Neptune as I check out. You guys have a good day. We've got 3 more matches to go and a short break before that. Don't go anywhere.
Circle, but unfortunately the shift doesn't favor. It's being tossed on either end. Can it find an opening for MBR Omega?
Are taken out of the equation already. It's a 2v1. Serial Namis lobby once again. 3 games in a row.
Week 2 is over, and the battle for dominance in FFWS SEA 2026 fall is heating up. From incredible clutches to standout MVP performances, here are the biggest moments from this week's action. Week 2, Day 1 was a strong showing for Indonesia, with Onyx, MBR, and RRQ securing 4 booyahs across 6 games. Evos may still be searching for their first, but they've found a strong rhythm and consistently reached the late game. Meanwhile, Putra's arrival at Onyx made an immediate impact, helping the team secure a booyah. Vamos are back in form. After becoming the first Malaysian team to secure a booyah in Week 1, they continued their momentum in Week 2. On Day 2, Vamos exploded for 27 eliminations in Game 4, earning 39 points and taking over the top spot in the standings.
Vamos, can they make the run happen? Vamos!
Team Flash had an incredible Day 3, securing back-to-back booyahs in Games 2 and 3 and bringing their total to 5. Their strong performance pushed them all the way to the top of the standings with 237 eliminations and 401 points. In Game 6, Team Flash came very close to another booyah, but couldn't finish the final fight against Buriram and GOW Esports. Even so, their performance throughout the day was enough to make them the team of the day. Buriram United Esports had a strong day 3, securing 2 booyahs and climbing into the top 5 of the Week 2 standings. Their total now stands at 5 booyahs and 361 points. The highlight came in Game 6, where Buriram quickly wiped out Team Flash in a decisive team fight, helping them secure valuable points and cap off a strong day. And that's a wrap on Week 2 of FFWS SEA 2026 Fall. New leaders have emerged. Teams are finding their momentum, and the battle for the top is getting tougher. The fight for the top is far from over. Catch all the action next week in FFWS SEA 2026 Fall. They are often excluded from conversations about the strongest region. But now, Team Flash has silenced everyone to become the best nation in the knockout stage.
For the pickup, and RRQ is falling down one at a time. 2v2 situation, and Maal still in position. And Luando couldn't get out from the glue wall, but can finish Rans. In the meantime, it's now a 2v3 situation with quickness on the pickup.
And seems like AJ is on the roll right now. Booyah on this team versus team. Even Pichu and Goku can try their best. But look at this, a takedown on N1. Player who's out of sight. That can be the game changer. And Goku is now losing out on HP and Team Flash.
The race to top 2 continues as we continue in the second half of this day for the beginning of the knockout stage. I'm Neptune the Gem Garcia, joined by the one and only Lucifer, and we had to say goodbye to AJ for the first half. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is the Free Fire World Series Southeast Asia 2026 Fall Beyond All Limits.
Now, beyond all limits, yes, AGL want to perform. They're already sitting at the top, Neptune, but you sending some spicy conversations with our host to hopefully twist the minds of Twisted Minds, but yes, even our audience as well, because getting closer, right? We've had the first 3 games. Teams need to understand that now the last 3 will decide which top 2 teams walk right into the grand finals.
I mean, it's tough to say if Twisted 9 will be able to get in top 2, but one conversation that we have is Falcons. If they want to get in top 2, a back-to-back booyah or a back-to-back booyah is needed, or an aggressive run out of the 3 games that we have. But it's tough to beat the double booyah that we have from Secret WAG. But one thing's for sure, the consistency out of AGAL is on point. And I guess they want to get that early ticket. They want to rest early and then just head into grand finals and watch everyone else battle.
And I really like that mindset if teams are looking forward to going up very early, making sure they're in the grand finals, and read everybody, because these titles are not something that you can pass by, and I think that's what AGL want. They want to make sure they grab it, and especially with having all the glory right now, right? Just after EWC, I'm pretty sure they would want this SEA Fall title for themselves. But before we jump into the game, Twisted Minds, they heard due it seems, and there's going to be Cougar coming back, and it is going to be Diamond taking a rest for the time being.
Well, Cougar, one that has champion DNA despite of not making it through Team Falcons all the way. I'm pretty sure Cougar will give a little bit of aggression out of the squad. Not only that, we're also going to introduce Goku out of Gao, and DN will be sitting it out. So a few of those substitution might change their ways, or probably improve their ways at the moment, but not It's not every time that it happens. Even for BTR, after the substitution that we've seen earlier, out of the newcomers, it's still not looking good for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think the changes that happened after the transfer window, teams are still figuring out what's going to be best. And right now in the top three, as you can see, it has to be RRQ and BTR. These two names in synonymous. And along those lines, we have Vamos. Now, Vamos so far in the first three games, you could never count them or count them in. They've been playing somewhere in the middle ground. So if they have a really good run here in Kalahari, I expect Neptune, they might also be in an opportunity to the top two and in the grand finals.
Well, let's look if our prediction will come true as well, because you are putting AJAL. I do agree with you. They are on point with the elimination, RQ. I think in this specific map, they will be able to give a little bit more of the umph for the squad, because Kalahari is their nest, especially with Maal, who is on point, and movement is quite fast this time around for this guy, for this kid. So I'm really looking forward to them to perform.
I think if RRQ Kazu make sure they get this Booyah, which in the later half of a phase 1 they managed to pull it off for Kalahari, it is really good for them. And the chase that we've been talking about, the top two, opens up if AGL do not perform, Secret WAG don't perform, and maybe Onyx Olympus as well might be under contention. Because right as now, I do not feel like any of the teams are out of that race of top two. They still have the option. The difference from the top two teams till the third team is just around 13 points, and that is not even a full game. We've seen teams pull off 13 elimination just with a whim, and maybe there is an opportunity even for Falcons, the discussion that we were having earlier.
Yeah, and then the prerequisite at that point is for some of the squad who have been consistent to be eliminated early. Secret WAG is one of those, and AJ did point out that out of 3 games, they managed to land in the top 3, and 2 of which is a Booyah. So that's a tough beat, but it's more of just finding out their rotation from the drop spot and just be on your toes. You don't have to be too lax, and just make sure that your position, and you wait for the closing of the circle. I think that's where Secret WAG has been doing it quite well. Thus, they're getting those Booyahs and finding the final circle.
100% agreed. If you take a look at their standings, the placement points is the highest compared to any team out there. Even AGL, they just have 19 placement points, which tells us that clearly Secret WAG have been prioritizing the circle and the zone, making sure they're in the last fights, and that W back-to-back Booyah that they managed to pull off. That tells us that they have a clear-cut plan that they also want to go in tandem along the lines of AGL. But I'm worried when we talk about these two teams, and if they're always in the top two, the race for the others in these last 3 games will be difficult, especially if AJL end up securing a Booyah themselves, because right as of now, they're 43 eliminations, the highest. They secured 12 placement points. It will now start clearing a difference from the top 2 teams to the rest in the overall standings or today's standings.
And one squad that also is a good contention is Burem United. Despite of failing getting a few of those placement, but elimination-wise, they managed to land a few. Well, let's see if this is where they will be popping off, because again, it's more of the snipers who will be bringing more of those damage and elimination in this fight. This is the Desert Lands of Free Fire. We are going to get into Kalahari, and let's see if the snipers will be doubling it up in this fight.
It's going to be very crucial for every sniper to step up and make sure they get their eliminations one after another. Tikwe, we're going to be jumping down with him. That is going to be Secret WAG heading right towards Mammoth. Right next to them is going to be Twisted Minds, but not much to be worried about. But there could be a worry as Santa Catarina and right above them Confinement, Esports and Vamos both are jumping together in that direction.
Only one hot drop that we're seeing, and there goes the binoculars as well. So it's Esports, Vamos, but Vamos is a little bit too late in party and heading straight to where some of the players of Esports are. And there you have it, the Axel being taken down, coming from Sichuan. But Sichuan did manage to land those shots as well as put up a glue wall in time before being taken out. Great rotation coming from Esports right now, and Vamos couldn't do anything about it.
Players are being lost on as well. Now Jun, he did go towards the vending machine, but he knows that there is a threat. He cannot run away from it. Nero already taking the shots. Not the best weapon we know in these early drops, but with the numbers dropping, it is already a problem. Jun will also be found. Elimination granted, another one for PE Sports, and a total of 4. All the players from Vamos have been swept off, but thankfully we did see Jun going to the vending machine, getting their players back up so they still have a second life.
The only question though is where will they be dropping? Is there a chance for them to be safe on that drop? But as we look at it, N1 right now goes in for the shot against Sibeng. And damage overall coming from Mingku with a G36, and there they got the first elimination. BTR still in trouble. Not quite sure if there's any fix at the moment for the squad. I'm pretty sure Chris Joe have something in plan, or just giving them a few words, but let's give it to the team as well. They have a couple of players that's new to the team, and that chemistry needs to be built in the first few days of this knockout.
Koja, wait, what?
What?
Hello? Wait, was he looking for constructing the bridge or something? I don't know. Look long lost, just staring into the metal. And the god, he is staring right into the players, one after another. That's the second elimination. Two different players from two different teams, but doesn't matter for him. Those are points added to the board.
Well, don't call him the god for nothing. He is the god of snipes from what we've seen so far. And let's see if this continues. But BTR spread too thin, and I think they will be targeted with a lot of squad. Pina, though, targeting a player from Onyx. And Adam doesn't have the weapon to fire back. VSS, good fire rate, but not so much of a distance. And there goes Pong being taken down. Peppered. And unfortunately, no recovery for Vamos Malaysia. Will be sitting it out.
You mentioned it is going to be problematic. We have to see where they dropped, and they're going to be dropping right to opponent teams, and that's the wipeout for Vamos. But Flash, they're also wiping the score right now. P Esports, 2 players being picked off. Onyx on the other end, they did lose out Poom. We saw in the battle, and Falcons are closing the distance. Adam, the newest addition, he is the closest. You mentioned about the VSS, not the best weapon, so he has to make sure he rejoins his teammates, but Falcons have him surrounded all directions. So Adam, there is no opportunity. Pina on the window, dash coming in. Porpor instantly shuts him down with a Winchester.
And that's tough. If you have Kororo on Overwatch, it would be tough to really go against and find a safe spot. But here comes On Fire. A little bit too aggressive, but Crime only used a mini Uzi. And Pina is trying to do the same with MP5, but no foothold. Crime survived, but for how long? And I don't think he recovered that much. And there you have it. A better weapon in the hands of Pina. But from downtown, G'day says goodnight, and he gets another point.
Something in those losses was what Onyx Olympus ended up picking, at least one. On the other end, Falcons, they have control. They instantly run to the vending machine, bring both the players back up in an instant without being worried. On the other end, Onyx Olympus, they take a little bit more time. Gade finally brings back Crime. On the other end, Bigatron by Vitality. After losing a couple players, they seem like they've brought all there. For Sibang, the latest drop, but he's dropped right to AGL. They've been so aggressive, and you can see Cypher with hook gun is closing the distance. Sibang might not be ready for this. Spotted, damage being done, and the Bison will do justice to bring Sibang down to his knees, and the confirmation as well. BTR trying to follow through. Dew is down. This is the opportunity, but Nameless and Cypher playing together. They do not want to let it around them, but Fellow and Kyong rush right to Cypher. Nameless to follow, and this fellow is gonna find the fist in his new run.
I'm really loving this kind of move because they're better in the CQC compared to double sniper setup. And from what we've seen, even from what we heard out of AGAL, they pulled away for double snipe. And BTR is one of those who introduce or reintroduce double snipe. But they are the one who pull away first. But unfortunately, AGAL eliminated early, giving a chance for Secret WAG to overtake them on the #1 spot. And that's 2 match in a row that they are not bringing so much of numbers. Not quite sure if there's anything that's happening in the moment for AGAL. Probably their fire has been snuffed out a little bit early. A little bit of regroup after that elimination is needed. But on the other side, Falcon taking out RRQ. And hopefully this is not me cursing the team.
Hey, I was worried, and there you go. AGL is down now. RRQ, maybe it's your turn, Neptune. One for each other here on the caster's desk. But right as now, Falcons on the other end, their first game in comparison they've picked up right now. It's 5 eliminations already added to the scorecard. They would want to add a little more, but it seems like Duts, he will be able to make sure he moves away. And Duts will have the opportunity and responsibility also to bring back RRQ, because they were not ready for that surprise coming in from Falcons to instantly wipe that all of a sudden.
Well, for those of you, hopefully you're not surprised because here comes Brim United's champion bundle that will be coming soon, and hopefully you save up for this as well. And something that you would want to be wearing proud and battling in style once that has been released. But going back to the battle, we're seeing that some of the teams already spread out, but no potential engagement for the moment. But Binocular is being used by Brim United and Onyx Olympus. That might pull the squad in. But look at Jonah outside the zone. I'm questioning some of the rotation out of Brim United at this point, but I guess with this, despite of the RNG, it still favors their rotation in the next phase of the circle. But this also shows that some of the squad who are on the farther side will be pulled in this area, and BRU needs to move fast.
Yeah, they have to, and that's the reason Jonah made a jump, but they got spotted. Now Crime trying to overcover that. Jonah is still stuck. Crime spotted. And pretty sure shot will be taken, but Jonah is making sure he patches himself up. Information is also being given to his teammates. Jonah finally decides that height is not the risk he needs to take. It is about the team game. Gets down to the ground, and now Onyx Olympus, they're closing the distance. Boltmaker also called, and now more trouble for either side.
And Crime couldn't be taken out, and here comes the rest of Onyx Olympus. That might be trouble for BRU, especially the lightning zone that is putting them on their toes. But Jonah had managed to land an M82B shot on Crime. Even Adam tried to do so in between those glue wall, but unfortunately couldn't go for the finisher. Crime will be revived quite quickly. Now, Brim United will have more in trouble, especially Moshi, because here comes BTR, who might go in for the backstab, but the frontliners is not done just yet for BRU.
Moshi closing the distance. He spotted Adam. G'day already picked one. It's problem right now. Onyx Olympus numbers, but they have control of the vending machine. But Moshi saw that there is nobody near the vending machine. This is the opportunity. Onyx Olympus, they have two players here. It seems like one revive was done, and therefore there is still an opportunity to run away from this fight. But Buriram, they do not want to give Onyx Olympus to make a run. Binoculars used again. Information gained, knowing the position. But it seems like Vasana somehow here, along with Moshi, has understood that there is another team, which you were talking about, Neptune, and Bigatron by Vitality have closed the distance.
Well, speaking of closing distance, this is RQ and Team Falcons closing distance on each other. On fire goes against Maal, and damage as he tries to recover with that inhaler. But Maal timing pristine with an M82B, and this is all those months of practice trying those shots on the shotgun that Abe has spotted player like Pina. But unfortunately, the glue wall was quite fast and the movement as well, but not too fast, and full squad of RQ.
Unfortunate for Falcons over there. They were the ones who were prepping up the battle against RRQ here in Council Hall. But the seats taken by RRQ Kazu start from Maal. I think that opening itself with the M82B, brilliant stuff, and that just gave the confidence here for RRQ Kazu to go through and get more eliminations. 10, they've already reached double digits, and it's not even 10 minutes of the game. Let's hope RRQ Kazu, just like how we keep calling them, that this is their map. They should be able to secure a booyah, but it's still a distance away before we can call it. But Twisted Minds as well are on a distant position on the standings before they could call themselves that they're in the grand finals.
I do get the position that's being taken by Twisted Mind moment, but they're spread too thin, and one snipes out of Expose or Cougar, who's currently outside of zone. It might spell trouble for the squad. Compared to BRU, they're moving together, moving everywhere, and they're not like making sure that no one from the sniper side will land a hit, because they are just too quick in those approach. But here comes Esports. Cougar, not quite sure what's happening on him. He might have advantage on a backstab if Esports will show or fire at Twisted Mind, but that's a risk that they might not want to take at the moment, especially C1 on the VSK. But LBT receives a view shot. I believe it's from downtown, from Expose, and no one has spotted Cougar just yet.
Yeah, he could be the surprise that Twisted Minds would need But it seems like PE Sports, the closer players have not yet been spotted. They're spotting players at the distance. Jump and the Bass now slowly making their presence known as Cougar finds the opening. Nero's down. C2-1, he cannot help that out. He knows he getting closer will be a problem. The Bass is also close the distance. Footsteps will be heard. Launchpad seen, but the Bass was a little too late. He still has an opportunity. His teammates are targeting, damage being done, and now they spot another player. Different team, but still matters as a target. Unfortunately, couldn't land anything other than the just one player that they picked off. Twisted Minds, you have to give to their grit. They were able to hold it off without giving away their position and put PE Sports in a problem.
Now, LBT would be in a problem right now, faced with G'day, and LBT might not have the weapon in that fight. G'day, I'm hearing some gunshots from a shotgun. I think that is what LBT has right now, a Mag 7, but G'day did manage to weave in and out of those shots, and boom. Well, he might be able to finish off LBT. This is what gives G'day that fighting chance on recovery. And there goes the shot. M249 out of G'day just to make sure that he doesn't run out of bullets.
And running out of players is going to be Falcons on the other end. That's going to be Team Flash. 15 eliminations for them. 7 by the God itself. And it seems like he is proving like the God of Kalahari as of now. Being a big problem and a threat to everybody. The circle just shifted and it seems like Team Flash are in that direction, moving closer. But Secret WAG, a team from their own region. Team Flash have had a better run and Secret WAG have had back-to-back booyahs. And Popo right in between them. He is the last one. Gets picked off and that is done for Team Falcons here in Kalahari.
It's just unfortunate. We are eyeing at them to get at least a couple of booyahs, if not a huge game for today. But it's just unfortunate that they won't be able to do it. And we might see them on the next few days within the week. But for Team Flash, well, they're doing their best to bring back their aggressive ways, similar to the first phase of this competition. But there's a lot of challenges in front of them. For Gao Esports, a little bit too passive, but this is good. They're very close to the next phase of the circle, but potential backstab out of a couple of players, one from Onyx, another one from PE Sports might be a problem.
PE Sports, they have an opportunity, but they also have to pick up points with Falcons out. And it seems like Secret WAG, Hongam decided to step out and instantly Buriram put them down. Buriram, they are not the only players here in Santa Catarina. Bigatron by Vitality are also here, and in that direction Twisted Minds have made a jump, and Buriram, they've spotted it. And it is going to be a problem. Secret WAG, they want to fire, but they cannot. With players not in their favor, it is gone. On the other end, RRQ, they're in trouble. Maal is done. Abai and Rans, they have to do justice to it. ABCD not allowing Abai to do anything. No revive. And Luan is put down. But Minkog, he puts a player down, causing more trouble for RRQ. But Team Flash, they make sure that it's about survival. All their players need to stand. But that Riptide rhythm coming in from Twisted Minds. ABCD is down. And Luan is down. And Team Flash, just like a wish and a flash, they're done for with one member surviving.
You can say that again. They are out in a flash, and they do have a little bit of a natural cover that they could have played with, but unfortunately, they took a while, and a double Riptide rhythm cost them a lot. Only one man remaining, and the closest is in Santa Catarina, where 3 teams is already holding. Now, Cougar doing his best to shut down Maal even before he drops, but on the other side, Secret WAG, Tikui and Nan against Gao Esports, MTai, and Goku, but Goku gets tags up. Will he be able to recover? Not a chance. Not giving them any leeway at all. But this is one thing that Secret WAG is trying to avoid, stepping out in the cover, because they know that there's a lot of snipers who might be waiting at them.
I really like how Gao Esports are at least trying to hold it off, and on the other end, as you mentioned, Secret WAG do not want to give any of the snipers an opportunity, but Snipers are bare. He's also trying to play it out and finds a lot of eliminations, putting a team out, and now Secret WAG understanding that keeping this fight going on will be unfavorable, especially of how close Twisted Minds are, and they've made sure the push has happened, the information's been given. MTai is down, it's down to Goku. Twisted Minds, they're picking up eliminations. Goku has made it to the corner, but MTai, he will not be able to, just will try to crawl, and the confirmation should follow. But Bigatron, they're making sure confirmations for them as well, as they pick a player from RRQ, but stolen by Buriram.
Gao Esports out in contention. Chibengdo trying to play on a base. Patience especially the glue wall running out. But what he need right now is Kyong's N249, and I don't think he does have a coin to revive more than one player. But Abe will be moving out. And a little bit of shout out to one of the players of Twisted Mind. 5 grenade elimination out of this battle, and Wasana shots onto Maal and Rans, but didn't know that BTR is just looking at it in this small window, and they are in the clear view. Look at Kyong just finishing off that M249 out of the glue walls of BRU.
He was like he'd got a special key and just let those bullets take players away one after another, annoy Buriram so much. But nothing happened. They'll still be able to be alive, and now they're moving in the direction of Bigatron by Vitality. Abai, he had no other option, so he had to make a jump. His position's also spotted. Buriram United Esports, this is their opportunity. But Koja, he's finding opportunities on Secret WAG. PLS1 is down, but a counter coming in from Cougar on Koja. Abai will be finally picked out, and that comes to the end of RRQ Kazu.
Well, 4 teams remaining, and we have a 3v4, v4v4. Unfortunately, BTR is in a shorter end. Wasana even shut down the fellow, and BTR is out. But unfortunately, BRU will need to go for the pickup, and hopefully, though, Riptide Rhythm is open for the opponents to clear them out. Glue wall melters being thrown at BRU, but they don't want to risk it. Twisted Mind just want into the next phase of the circle, and Secret WAG loving how well they managed to survive, but not for long. Expose with an AWM, and Tikui being gone at with that Drogon, but PLS1 as well as Getna just getting the best out of this fight, and Twisted Mind twisted to their limbs.
They were a second ago in control, but right now they're losing all of it. The bars were set up, and he's picked off Moshi along with Vasana. Together, put a seal here in Kalahari, shutting both the teams simultaneously and grab a booyah for themselves. Buriram United Esports, what a way to end Kalahari and make sure they put a statement to their run in the top 2 that we are also those teams that want to get to the grand finals very early on. Look at him asking question. Were you ready? You were not.
I'm going to dump get in there. But anyways, I mean, Buriram United, if we're going to measure the distance traveled, BRU has the least distance traveled in this map. They didn't have to move far from Stone Ridge to Santa Catarina, and I think they were just like waiting for the final circle, or each phase of the circle, and it's lucky enough that RNG is favoring them, and they don't need to get though out in the open, because they have that shipwreck in Santa Catarina to protect them in few moments.
And you mentioned as well, there was a situation where we were all worried. Buriram, you holding that position for far too long at Santa Catarina could be their own undoing of losing the position. Because many teams will start passing in the region, even coming down from Council Hall confinement. Everybody somewhere in the mix will get stuck at Santa Catarina, especially with the vending machine. But thankfully, the circle kept shifting in their favor, and all the teams who were trying to get closer were already getting wiped at the edges. Bigatron were the only team that we thought maybe will put an obstacle to Buriram. They tried their best. You saw their Kyong letting that M249 just let bullets one after another. But this situation, Twisted Minds were in control. They tried to close the distance. Buriram saw that as an opening, and they just started moving uphill. And then Moshi with a God nade, putting players from both the sides down one after another. And Vasana helping him out, got this booyah.
Well, let's see the MVP, the one and only Moshi, and definitely a sniper will be an MVP at this point, especially with the distance that they have from the rest of the squad. 9 eliminations, 6 assists, 5,321 in the damage, and standard build with that Suzy and with that Arvan as well. So I'm really loving that they just are not moving, they're moving so much but not that far, and this is what they need to do if they want to continue their run towards that top 2 by the end of the day.
Neptune, just before this I had Buriram as my prediction, but then I changed as we were heading to this, and I saw Due's interview. I was like, maybe I'll just give AJL the chance, and now I'm like, I should have gone back to my decision. But Buriram, they say we stick to our own intuition and we secure a booyah, and a really good game coming in. It was not just Moshi, you have to give it to Getna along with Vasana and Jonah as well. 4 eliminations, 6 and 3 respectively. It might be Moshi with the highest amount of damage, but you can see everybody close to 2000 tells us that this was a team game. There were situations when with Melters and M249 that we ended up seeing from Kyong, all of that did annoy and kind of knock players, but I think this is the only team that we saw barely a revive being used, even though they had vending machines access.
Yeah, and that's one thing. They just need to make sure that they are stacked up, and that's one thing that they've done in beginning of that Santa Catarina run. But looking at the intention of the squad, especially on the build that we have, no wonder Getna was aggressive. He does have that Zane, does have that Shani on him, though Shani has been nerfed a little bit, but it's still crucial that the gear recycle is helping them. So there's really no need for the basic therapy for the Cassie, because either way, whether it's Wasana or Getna, the front lines is still strong.
Yeah, I think having your shield points up when necessary, making sure you're actually a literal fortress that the opponents cannot take you down, worked out really, really well. And with that, a total of 34 points is what Buriram managed to secure. And then coming in next is going to be Team Flash. Team Flash rather had a really good run. We ended up seeing them picking up everybody, holding it off, but unfortunate that movement where they came in front of Twisted Minds and they were not ready for it while they were reviving their players, put them down. RRQ, they come in next at 19 points, Twisted Minds with 15, but the biggest upset here, the team which was not in the spotlight but picking up points, one is Vamos and AGL just with a single point. These are big surprises and a little bit of an upset when we look at the today's standings.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about upset, and both AGAL and CKWAG will be upset after seeing this, because if I'm not mistaken, Buriram United came from the 4th place, and they move up now on the top, and AGAL was eliminated early, so that's given. CKWAG, though, did manage to maintain the top 3 spot once again, 4 games, 4 top 3, but they need to do more on elimination. I think that's the only thing that's missing out of this formula for CKWAG, but if they can continue this, the top 2 is easy for them to secure by the end of the day, but there's still a few who might be able to catch up. AJL is 1, and RQ Kazu is very close behind.
Yeah, RQ Kazu, I think they should be the ones looking forward to an opportunity. Unfortunately, they lost it in Kalahari, the one we had, and now they have to expect, hopefully, maybe a randomizer works in their favor or they perform in Bermuda. Yes, while we kind of talk about RRQ Kazu, every time that they performed was not much in Kalahari. The other games they performed, got their booyahs, and then later in the last day of phase 1 is when they got their booyah on Kalahari. So maybe there is still to be expected, but in today's day, they have an option, because the difference, as we spoke, was 13 points. Now you look at the top at 17 points. So it's not 30 points of a difference for any team, at least in the top 5. Even Onyx Olympus, who were in the 3rd spot, now pushed to the 5th spot just because of what Buriram ended up doing. Even AGL, who ended up getting pushed, Onyx suffer even further and get pushed bottom. But Vamos, they get taken down a big hit. They were around the 5th and 6th position. Now they take a leap all the way to 9. Their chances now going off the radar.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vamos, with the 2 booyahs that they have on phase 1, is good, but they couldn't maintain it right now. And we were, like me and AJ was going in the story, we're in, phase 1, you have the anticipation of the groupings, as well as, like, fixed teams that you're going against, so it's easy to study. But now, since the cream of the crop has been gathered into one lobby, and it's only the top 2 that's being aimed right now, I think there's a lot more of problems that will be taken not only by Vamos but also the team, who will not be consistent compared to what we've seen out of the top 4.
Maybe a lot of teams will have a suffer, but we've also been seeing BTR also not at their best. Yes, the new changes, they have to figure things out for the long run. So it might not be in their favor, but right as now, as we jump to our next game, which is none other than Bermuda in the schedule. Let's see what happens. Is this an opportunity for teams to make a comeback? But because, hey, it is the long and standing game, Bermuda, that everybody is used to, and this should be where they come to their usual game senses, where they'll be able to pick up a booyah if there is an opportunity to strike. Like, hey, let's go to Onyx Olympus. They started with a booyah. Going to Bermuda should be them trying to repeat that. Team Flash, now they're also looking good. We saw, especially in the previous game, top 2, 17 eliminations, but unfortunately they could not close it when it mattered, and the zone closing in made it even more difficult.
And you mentioned about Team Flash. Let's include PE Sports as well, because as we look into Phase 1, Team Flash and PE Sports did get 2 Booyahs at this point, and this is one thing that we might throw off some of those in the running. But Azrael has been brought in, so let's see if this might give Vamos a little bit of a fighting chance to move up in the ranks. But again, it's still early to it's late, but also a lot of points that's needed by Vamos. But same goes with Team Falcons. So I guess without Limit X7, Team Falcons is not in their usual form, so they need their snipers back.
Yeah, I think as even AJL mentioned, right, from the double sniper, they ended up having only one. As usual, the game should see one sniper. But then after that interview, we've not seen AJL perform the best. Maybe now Falcons understand this one thing is not working in our favor. Let's bring in more and let's see how it works out or turns out. And even a substitution coming in from Gao Esports, they bring back Dine with letting Pishu for the time being rest. Let's see if that works out for Gao Esports. They're also figuring out with this new lad if that is how they would want to function. As we look at the top 3 here in Bermuda and Team Flash, the reason we were talking about it along with you mentioning PE Sports was this: they perform really well, and Vietnam as a region take Bermuda as most as possible as their control. As you can see, Secret WAG and Secret WAG just as of today have had a back-to-back booyah, so this could be another opportunity.
Well, speaking of back-to-back, there goes a back-to-back. In terms of prediction, Team Flash. So it's double curse. Hopefully that comes out as a positive at this point, because Team Flash definitely needs it. Currently in 6th place, but not far away from the ones above them, which is Onyx Olympus. So technically they're tied, and they're only 22 points away from BRU, who's currently in the number 1 spot. So as we step into the green grass of Free Fire, OG map of our game, let's see who's going to get that Big B.
Big B in Bermuda. The booyah is what they're looking forward to as they go beyond limits. Let's see who will that be. But you can also with the Buriram Champion bundle, which is coming very, very soon. Right as now, we have to see where these teams are dropping and where maybe we could see a drop clash. Buriram, the ones who got the booyah in the previous game, they're taking a dive. They're around the edges of peak. But on the other end, seeming at Sentosa, AGL are the only team, Secret WAG, from Mars Electric all the way closer to the edges of Peaks Roads, they have had a big split, and it seems like Secret WG early game, they like this very big split.
Yeah, I mean, they usually drop in Mars Electric, but with Chinook as well as Factory that's close behind, I think it's good for them. There's a little bit of insurance if in case the 3 players who is split up will falter. So I'm loving that for Secret WAG. And why not fail in the beginning? As long as you have one player who can gather up as much points as possible to bring back 1 or 2 players, that's good enough. For RRQ though, Rimnam Village, a little bit too far, but it is reachable. But they also have a little bit of trouble of Onyx Olympus, who is very close in Clock Tower. So that's a team that will be waiting for them unless they use a launch pad and head over the northern part of the map right here in Bermuda. That is the usual rotation of Team Falcons.
Let's see if it is happening. Limit X7 spots the player. Fellow will be able to die, but then Popo takes a hit. Even Pina gets a counter hit coming in from Bigatron. So Koja now trying to make sure that instantly backs that elimination. It should be granted for him. There's no way they could stop. Yes, a player was just coming uphill, but it was a little too late to stop Koja. But they're now behind Koja on fire. He wants to put him down, serve this revenge. But players from Bigatron are surrounding Falcons, and there it is. On fire's down. Popo from afar will be able to do nothing. Limit X7 is well with that sniper game. Not much. Sibeng on the other end, he's on a different fight altogether with RRQ, but still not much to be worried, because at least in this front, Bigatron are able to hold as Fellow now charging in 1v1 and puts Popo also down.
Again, best counter to a double snipe is a better frontliner. I guess Fellow is one of those aggressive player who will be able to pull it off. But judging from what we are seeing from BTR, I think they're going on and off on a double snipe, which is good because if they can go for a sniper. It's not as if you're only using one weapon in this fight. You can always switch it up. It's more of the intention of the skills as well that they will need to work on. But speaking of intention, AJL, is intending to fight against PE and as well as Vamos to cut off any approach by the Vietnamese squad. So a three-way battle is about to unfold in Cape Town, and June, with that stealth bites, has managed to flank already.
Yep, here in Cape Town, Jun, he was the one who made sure in the previous game of Kalahari that his teammates were always backed up, but not for long that they had to suffer the fate of elimination. Here they have an opportunity. AGL, they're actually going in for a battle with PE Esports, chasing Cypher. C21 in trouble, and he'll be put down with the valiant dash of Cypher. Nothing much he could do, but this is a warning that Vamos should know that there is a team close by. AGL Cypher, he is charging in. He should be able to spot them through the window. Zuez in trouble. Cypher's done the damage. Then coming in with the launcher. Azriel unable to hold it off. His Nameless is also close by. And the freeze will put both of them down, chipping their HP, and 2 more eliminations coming in for AGL.
I mean, AGL, loving the combination. You have the RGS-50 as well as Ice Grenade in there, making sure that there's no way for them to breathe. And I think they spotted one of the players of Vamos as well. Jumped out from that balcony. D-Axel, glue wall. But is this enough? Stays in the corner. Cypher loses him and tries his best. But D-Axel slack and slash his way onto one of the players of AGL, leaving Cypher alone.
Oh, Cypher. He couldn't help his teammate out. Now the Axel is making a run. He's also put down a landmine. I think Cypher has spotted that. Will destroy and then now climb up the stairs. Axel ready. Glue wall instantly put in place, and the Valiant dash to put the Axel down. Cypher with calculated moves over there, getting another elimination for the team.
Yeah, I mean, talk about it. Every move, step by step, was just pristine. Cypher's trajectory was just forward, and all he has to do is switch it up with weapons, with skills, and whatever, glue walls and whatnot. And he was just on point. Boom! No! The backstab on Moshi with an M24. And this is a guy upcoming on the snipes, back at it again, trying to take down or probably eliminate the full squad of BRU.
There was no trouble for Buriram here in peak, but right now a challenge, Onyx Olympus, and seems like even after losing today, they're still ready for a challenge. Crime on the roof, and Buriram, they do not have much control. Adam is charging in. He's the new lad. Can he hit? Yes, with a max 7, does the damage and exchange instantly. Knock for a knock, and get now will be confirmed. Crime on the roof. This is why height advantage comes into play. Adam might be knocked, but teammates are getting closer. On the other end, when we talk about teammates, biggest round by Vitality, they've closed in, and Twisted Minds, they have no opportunity to help Jump and the Bars, and they will be put to rest as they confirm 2 more eliminations and put 8 on the board for Bigatron.
This is not a day for Twisted Mind moment, and I'm really loving that BTR, after pulling away from the usual, they are now getting back into play. 8 elimination. They did need to bring back Koja, but also try to get in position. Exposé has been spotted, only a sliver of hell, and I don't think he can survive. Twisted Mind out of the count once again. 12 plays, not looking good for the Thailand team.
I was not expected, Neptune. They just took the launch pad and voila, it's Exposé, the last man. And that's the end. But right now,
I thought they're just going for that revive, but
exactly.
Exposé was thinking the same thing.
Unfortunate for Exposé over there, but even unfortunate for Team Flash Riders now. Secret WAG are charging in. Even Gao right behind them as Gao is closing the distance. Goku and MTai are waiting for their opportunity, tossing a nade, but instantly taking a monster truck, making a run, but Nan7, he'll be picked off. More players being damaged, but somehow right across the bunkers, Hongam and his teammate will be able to make a safe turn, and therefore Secret WAG do not suffer just in one monster truck.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing that chord to the chord of G, means go. And that is what they have been doing all throughout. I'm really loving the LMGs is being highlighted right now, but CWAJ, I think they made a turn, they double backed, and hopefully it's in a good way. But Team Flash right now is heading into Observatory, trying to go in for revive. If they will be pulling this off, then they might be getting a spot, probably Riverside, if they want a safety drop for the moment. But as the rest of the squad is now triggered with a siren of the closing of the circle from second to the third, let's see on who's going to engage, because BTR going against the Falcons that they have been hunting the first time they got introduced in Southeast Asia.
Oh, these two players, Limit X7 and On Fire, they were not spotted. Their eyes were on Pina. And now On Fire, he'll also picked off Sibang from a distance, helps his teammates out. And Falcons, who are having a spread, thinking they have control, will all be picked and prodded one after another. Limit X7 as well, with nothing being allowed. Sibang on the other end, having a little bit of an issue. I think maybe the God took some shots, and there it is, the God with the M82B. He's outside the circle as of now, but his teammates are slowly flying in. And Keong, he also gets picked off. More problems as Team Flash close the distance. Both confirmations for the God. And now the God is turning it around.
Oh, no.
Fellow in trouble. ABCD is here, and even Koja, he will be spotted and put in trouble very soon. And there it is. En Luan doing the hit. VSK ready, Riptide to the Muse, and Koja has no defenses. Broken it all. And that's another confirmation. And Falcons, one last player they would have had, but it is Bigatron who end up losing their all because of the challenge that they put towards Falcons.
Definitely. I mean, they challenged Team Falcons, but they didn't account for another team jumping in on them, and that's Team Flash. So it's just unfortunate for BTR. They are looking in good form right now, but well, I mean, Team Flash is quite good in this map, but also you will be good in your games if you grab the Bariram Champion Bundle, not only with that skin, but you also have a backpack that everyone has been eyeing for the moment that BRU was declared a champion from last year. So hopefully you are prepared and get that for yourself.
But right now, prepared have to be Secret WAG, the challenge, and Hongam was not instantly shut down. Vamos making sure it continues. They take a mini launch pad, make a jump right into the circle. Nice use of the binoculars. They clear this position out right ahead of Clock Tower, and there is nobody. So they'll be happy about holding this position, but not happy are going to be Falcons. They get put to rest by Secret WAG, who are running in the other direction. Unfortunate for them. But Vamos, this seems to be a better game. 2 eliminations, they've found not a lot on the charts, but at least they've made it to the top 9, meaning there is some placement points they can secure, but they also have to make sure they get eliminations. They maybe pick off a Booyah, and if they do, maybe we count them in the race for the last game.
Well, this is something that we want to see. We are anticipating, but there's a lot of teams that we haven't seen just yet. And what worries me, well, for the other squad, is BRU, because they did grab a Booyah earlier, and they're back to their usual ways. Stealthy in the beginning, not seen, not even in broadcast, because they don't want to get that much elimination. It's more of the placement that they're working on at the moment, and that makes them deadlier towards the end. But speaking of deadlier, Team Flash, who has been deadly in this fight, is now being rushed by RQ and Obey in the front lines, and hopefully they don't go a little bit too aggressive, because we know that Team Flash will be able to fight this, especially if the God gets an angle on his snipes.
Yeah, but he has to be worried. Goku is behind enemy lines. Oh no, Minkok, he's going to be put down. The Woodpecker finding it short, but countering it and picking off rounds. En Luan making sure it is harder. Nice use of the skills riders now. Riptide Rhythm from the contrary also sent, but they will put up the time turner. And Duts, he will be picked off. The God doing justice with En Luan. Both of these two snipers with the M82B do not even give RRQ a CQC chance. Right at the distance, only with the sniper. In the last one coming in from the God with the AWM, putting RRQ Kazu to rest.
Bro, I mean, Team Flash is not just on a double snipes, I believe, and most of them does have a sniper on them, and this makes them even deadlier. We have N1 with M82B as well as the AWM, and we've seen even some of the players who managed to land a shot from afar. So AGAL might be targeted in most instances and will not be letting go of that compound, but another compound being held by BRU with the lightning zone against them. There's little chance for them to move about, but hopefully they can find a little bit of cover, because Secret WAG is putting so much pressure as Jonah will be taken down.
Nan7 that was, and more players from Secret WG. Getna has to find something. The Charge Buster good for one, but Nan7 up close and personal with the throw gun puts him down. And Nan7 quickly on the revive gets the player back up. This is how it's crucial in these battles. Vasana, can he be the saving grace? Players are charging in. Vasana trying his best, doing the damage, but there's too many players in the M590 coming in from TQ. Puts him down, and Buriram, their chances now completely bleak as it's only one last member surviving.
Bro, I mean, what a way to take them out of that number one spot. Deal with them personally. Secret WG. I know for a fact that they don't know that's Buriram United, but it's just poetry in motion right here out of the top two. But AGAL, after the pressure that's being brought in by Team Flash, they try to move in a little bit closer, and Saifa right in front line, a double ice grenade as well as a nade being run. Valiant dash by Saifa connected with basic therapy makes him even deadlier.
But clearly, Team Flash do not want to give an CQC opportunity. That's why they're running away. And Luan gets stuck. The nade parade, really good. ABCD and Luan both are down. It comes to the two members. Saifa will be finally put down. Confirmed as well. This could be an opening because that man is very deadly. After taking him down, it should be an opportunity for Team Flash. But they end up losing Munkug as well. And it comes down to the God. And he is hitting the shots. Baros, it's come down to a 1v1. Trying his best. Going in for a revive. Nameless is back up. And there it is. Baros brings up Dew as well. And now it's a 3v1 situation. All the efforts of finding the knocks, the God will be just put out in mid-air, telling that AGAL are the gods. They are the gamers here in Bermuda.
Definitely the gamers out in a global scene, and I'm loving the priority to make sure that everyone will be finding the final circle. Now, AGAL is back at it, but Team Flash, a little bit too aggressive. I guess it's the long range. Again, AGAL is just pulling away from the double snipes, or anticipating that the double snipes will be going against them, thus they need to close the distance. But speaking of distance, Moshi distancing himself from the rest of the squad within the area, and little to no chance of any revive for the rest of the team.
Every team not just making it to the grand finals, but also the global finals is what they want to. But first they have to get into the grand finals for that. Nameless? Wait, what? Play zone? Okay, thankfully they're still at the edge, but this is where it gets difficult. They have to move in, but they do not have any cover. And now Gao Esports, they're also on the uphill trajectory. So AGAL, they might be in trouble. They're also a man down. So for them to figure out how they will traverse Bermuda in such an open, because look at this, the entire complete west region that they are standing in, they have not a single compound except for this tower right in front, and therefore they call a monster truck at least as a hard cover for themselves. But Gao Esports right ahead of them, and seems like Gao Esports are in a three-way battle with Onyx and Vamos.
Oh, I'm seeing Moshi trying to move in on AGAL. That might be trouble, so AGAL needs to deal with Gao Esports quite fast. And there you have it. Elimination of Gao Esports, and a full squad of AGAL is back in play, and now they can deal with the rest, who is in trouble right now because of that lightning zone, and pickup can be done for Vamos, but not for long. There goes Onyx Olympus, eliminates them, and now they're peppering, or AGAL's peppering Onyx Olympus, even despite of that successful run against Vamos.
They did not have any cover, just one tower and a monster truck, and they made success out of it. And more problems for everybody else. Secret WH are out. Onyx Olympus, Crime in a wooden corner, nothing much to do. Boom out in the open. And right now, PE Esports trouble because of the nades coming in. Baros finds an opening. Crime is knocked. Boom trying his best, putting players from PE Esports down, but another to get the confirmation on Crime. And now Poon's position is revealed as the players from PE Esports now have an opportunity to move up. But Baros says with the SVD, no chances, and Cypher on the other end. Valiant dash with the help of Dew puts the end to PE Esports, and AGAL get a very big whacking booyah here in Bermuda.
Bro, that's not a Valiant dash, that's a monster dash. Monster truck breaking down the glue walls, and a combination of that Oscar's Valiant dash was just absolute cinema. It is poetry in motion, and AGAL is really bringing that numbers to themselves, and they're not far away. They even brought Buriram United in trouble, as well as Secret WAG. So AGAL, I guess they're going for the promise that they had an interview earlier.
I mean, if that's how they end up going into the grand final, everybody has to be worried about them slowly picking up pace, especially even in difficult situations where we thought maybe Team Flash had almost taken down AGAL, but not the case. The way they survived, they managed to pick up their players one after another, and Team Flash, who were making sure it is going to be a long range fight, could not hold up to it. And AGL from that position, we spoke about it, we saw in that flyby, they had no comp on just one tower, and just like the tower, they stood tall in this final fight. Unbelievable stuff. And as you said, I think Saifa, if you let that man go unchecked, he is gonna run like a monster, and he drove a monster truck right through the opponents of PE Sports for that final eliminations that Dew picked up.
Yeah, I mean, Saifa is just insane. He knows, like, probably he doesn't know that it's a full squad, but what he did is pull out the element of surprise. Just using that monster truck, they know the glue wall, they know the position of the opponents already, and there's no waiting for any signal from the rest of the squad. Saifa just wants to wreck everyone, and I want to go back and another highlight. I want to see that highlight again. This is what I'm talking about. Even leaving Nameless Battles and Dew behind. Classic Saifa, and this is just AGAL on point, taking that #1 spot back.
What a game, and what a way to take it back in the top 2. And Saifa will be our MVP, Valiant Dash, Dreki along with it, and a car 98k as well. Now, this is what we've been seeing. You mentioned, right? We were talking about even Team Flash. They have a weapon which helps them as a sniper or a marksman rifle. And along with that, they also have a CQC weapon just in case. And here it proved better from a squad that is called All Gamers Global.
Yeah, well, AGAL, All Gamers Global, bringing it global with that kind of performance. But let's take a look at the numbers that has been brought in by the rest of the squad, because I'm pretty sure it's not just Saifa who's doing a lot. And look at that, Dew with 10 assists, 8 elimination, and with just the 2 of them, that's already 17 points. So that's 23 points if my math is mathing at the moment. But that is a huge booyah out of AGAL. And they're slowly catching up to SuperWAG's record of being top 3 in most games in this day, which I'm loving. And they just want to get 1 day of work and then rest for the remaining 2 weeks for the remaining 2 days, and then just jump into the grand finals.
Yeah, and I think the way they also play together, we were talking about it in the early stages as well here in Bermuda. The way they calculate things and move ahead to find eliminations when they were fighting with Vamos as well as PE Sports together, and how it started is how it ended, with PE Sports being their last opponent, and Saifa and Nameless, they always club together. And I think we did not see much in terms of stats from Nameless, but him being there to assist Saifa when he's moving in as a rusher with the electrotherapy tells us if he's ready to withstand the bullets, as well as his teammate helping out with healing. And on the other end, the game standings, as you can see, a big 35 is what AGAL end up pulling for themselves. And Team Flash again fall short because they could not secure themselves a booyah. This time they have 13 eliminations, which gives them a total of 16 points because they got eliminated a little earlier when there were many teams still alive, around 8.
I'm really loving this kind of performance out of AGAL, and this brings the average of AGAL close to the 20 average per match. So it's 19.6 already, and despite of like not getting that much of booyah, as long as you can bring in numbers just like this, they can beat down on anyone. And I'm really loving as well that there's a few squads who's slowly moving up. Team Flash is one of those who's slowly catching up on Buriram United. And I think with this game, because Buriram United didn't do that much, so it's only 17 points remaining that Team Flash needs to do right now to go against BRU. But look at that, tied at 88. SeekWAG and BRU neck to neck in this fight.
Unfortunate of those 2 booyahs that Buriram have been pushed to the 3rd spot in that tiebreaker. But as you said, yes, closing the gap, Team Flash just 17 points. And this is what we said. None of the teams are letting this difference from that top 2 to run away to 20 plus points. And that may be an opportunity that still even Onyx Olympus has an opportunity. And RRQ Kazu, if they go berserk in the last game, maybe they have an opportunity. But at least in the later second half, from 7 to 12 spot, I don't think they have an opportunity to make a jump right towards 90 points. Now, hey, there is still a very highly unlikely situation if you would want to kind of maybe draw a parallel if there is an opportunity all the way from 54 points to maybe 98. That means you have to go for a big 40 pointer game, which is very unlikely in this situation when you have not showed up in the entire 5 games early on. So top 6 teams, they have a chance, but looking at how AGL is playing, Secret WAG maintaining their performance, it could be trouble for even the 3rd, 4th and 5th teams.
Now, one thing that Secret WAG needs to work on right now is to increase their numbers. They need a huge enough booyah, if they will be getting a booyah, to make sure that even BRU is out of contention, because I'm looking at some of the calculation that I have right now. So I did point out that AJL close to 20, but it's tied for both Secret WAG and Brim United. And judging from the potential maps that we have right now, regardless, like 4 out of 6 or out of 5 maps that we have out of the randomizer that might come up, BRU is still going on above. Like this is calculating from phase 1 as well as a few games that we've seen out of the game. So like Secret WAG, they can go for placement, they can go for circles, but they need to bring a lot of those elimination in this fight.
Yeah, they have to make sure, especially I think looking at their record, at least today, they've been a little more consistent while we were talking in comparison with the AGL, right? So they're in that likes right as of now, but it's the last game. Anything could happen, anything could completely break out. We've seen even AGL got with just 1 point in the previous game that we had, Kalahari. They did not do anything at all. So opportunity still strikes for some of these teams where they might be in trouble. But going into the last game, this is where if anybody's just joined in new, 2 teams will be able to jump into the grand finals just out of today's 6 games. Who those 2 are will be only unveiled after we figure out which is the last game that we are going to be going into. Is it going to be our Bermuda once again, Solara, Next Era where everybody likes to look forward to eliminations, or maybe Purgatory with Kalahari in the mix? Which is it?
I'm eyeing for Purgatory because of how quick the first game was, how aggressive everyone is, but that would depend on random RNG right now, and I guess it would be Kalahari. So for this game, well, we've seen the Booyah already being grabbed out of one squad, which is Brim United, increasing the odds of them not only taking over the number 1 spot, but also placing themselves on the top 2. And either way, it's AGAL or Secret WAG that might be pushed down.
What a way for us to enter into Kalahari as our game number 6, where Buriram have gotten a booyah, and on the other end, Secret WAG need points. They're the ones in the 2nd spot. And it might just come down to these 2 teams fighting and a completely different team, Neptune, going in that 2nd spot, and neither of these having an opportunity. Anything could happen. That's why I'm talking about Kalahari is a map if you're not wary about it, if you do not check your backs, especially when we talk about the CQC and long range. This allows the long range players to completely activate, find those openings, and maybe with AGL already looking at 98 points, they will try to go even more aggressive, knowing that this is the last game.
Yeah, there's one thing that they will need to work on, and I guess even Team Falcons is going for that approach. They're bringing in Keroro back and pulling Pina out because they know the distance is what they need to work on, and a sniper or double sniper would be a better approach. For the rest of the squad, I don't think there will be any substitution that we'll be seeing, but let's take a look at the top 3 in contention in this map. Again, this is coming from phase 1 and phase 2's number, and RQ is stopping forward 100 elimination out of this map, but Brim United, Vamos with a couple of booyahs, and the next team that will be following Team Vamos would be BTR, and next to that is Team Flash.
Yeah, earlier before this we had BTR in the top 3, but as you can see, times change, teams change, and Booyahs also change hands from the teams. And with that, we have our caster predictions, which is also changed. This time it's not going to be same. RRQ, you still have it. This time I've shifted to Bigatron by Vitality, just because maybe they were in the not in the top 3, and I thought, hey, they might make their comeback. And right now I'm rooting for the teams in the bottom 6, especially Neptune, because they could make the game for some of the teams at the top 2 to get to the grand finals or completely shatter their opportunity, and they have to play again tomorrow.
Well, let's see if that would happen. Both teams that we predicted is coming from Indonesia, and it might happen. We might see not only them, but also Onyx grab a booyah in this fight. As we go back to the desert lands of Free Fire, this is Kalahari, then the sniper's nest of the competition. But for those of you who don't want to be missed out, make sure that you save up once that Buriram Champion bundle has been released. Grab it for yourself and battle in style.
And battling right now is for that brilliant trophy that you saw in the game. But before they could battle for that, they have to get to the grand finals, and that is what this game is all about, the last game. And let's see which team picks it up. Phase 2, day 1 it is. And right as now, if there is a drop clash, we don't see any. RRQ have complete control of Refinery. Maal also, just in case somebody challenges, is a little further away. But there is the drop clash. I did not see this. Esports and Vamos. And it's going to be Bidep and Nero quickly falling C1 as well. And Adam, out of the mix, he decides that there should be a mini Uzi in my hand. But Azriel completely shutting down Esports. And Adam making a mistake of jumping in. And that is an added elimination that Vamos would want to. But Adam just did damage, and now he's running away to his teammates.
Run, Adam, ran. Because I know you're aggressive. I know it's been a while since you've been in play, but that's not a way to go about it. It's a good thing that he did manage to survive. Suez, though, has a plasma gun in his hand, waiting for a signal for the rest of the squad. Knows exactly where a couple of players from Onyx Olympus is! And even June, with a G36 flying like a G6, goes for that elimination of the next Bab, coming from Crime and the finisher with a VSS. And they will be distracted. Prioritize on a revive or prioritize in bringing down Crime.
Went a little too further in that fight. Did pick up Adam for all the menace that he caused. Gade is still around the compounds. Zuez has an idea. That's why he has the plasma. He's also checking the sky in case somebody is. And what a check it was. It did not get picked by the side of Vamos, but it seems like Bigatron were the ones who were able to find the deed. But right at the sub, it seems like there is a deed of Twisted Minds and RQ Kazu, and from Refinery Duts, he jumps between 2 of the players and unfortunately instantly put down Rance. That double Riptide rhythm almost took him down, if not for the time turner. For the time being, he'll be able to hold it off, but Cougar says no, as he finds one with a car 98k. Abai trying to close the distance, and finally, M590! One Valiant dash, then the M590 double hits 2 of the players, and both of them with a Wish and Cloud, they've been burst, and now Abai is not stopping. Goku right in front, and this time Goku decides to use that dash and run in the other direction towards his teammates.
Oh, Gao Esports, not too quick. Abai is just on, like flying. He is literally flying on his toes right now, but unfortunately Demon with AC80. And I don't think they have enough coins to go for another revive for RRQ, and Gao Esports just peppering them from all sides. Demon though, let's see if they'll be able to spot out Abai, and there goes Abai, says bye-bye. And how many is left for RQ? I think there's only 1 remaining. And hopefully he gets a vending machine soon. But on the other side, the Falcon Hunters against the Falcons. And it is the Falcons that's winning this fight.
Limit X7 confirming eliminations one after another. And Bigatron, they will not be able to hold their front here. There's still 1 player, and it seems like a chase Popor. He finds, and Sibang will be put to rest. And that is the end for Bigatron by Vitality here in Kalahari. Their chances are going to be all tomorrow. And on the other end of RRQ, another opportunity. Dudes this time gets faced with Adam and Gade together, and Rance was a little too late. You were asking of where these players are. They made it to Stone Ridge. Rance is going in for the revive along with Onyx. What was this? And Rance is making a run trying to survive, but both Gade and Adam will not allow other than a steal of a revive. No more stealing eliminations. They shut him down. But thankfully, Adam was able to put him down, and Ranz on the other end was able to do what he came for, a revive.
Yeah, that was some Kazoo Kid moment right there. Wait a minute. Who are you? Wait, I thought it was. They thought it was a teammate of theirs inside the time turner into that wall, into that door. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that they're still alive and kicking. But Barros, though, who might not be living that much, and as I say that, RRQ will be eliminated as Maal will be taken down.
With him being taken down, it seems like AGL have their next target. That is going to be a double Riptide Rhythm, but Falcons do not come in the closing distance, but Barros says doesn't matter. What a shot with a VSK, but the glue walls block the vision further. No more confirmation. They're still trying to make a run. The damage being done. Barros, can he secure another? They jump out of the vehicle right in the nick of time, right next to the vending machine. And they will able to survive this, but Saifa, he will not be able to, because Falcon's challenge do not just end with this sniper battle, it's also the close range one. And finally, it seems like Nameless will be able to stall with the help of Dew.
No.
Forced to use the stealth bites, Morse making a run back because he knows Falcons have their address, and for the time being, AGL will be able to survive.
Well, Secret WAG and Gao Esports in the battle, and Secret WAG really needs to survive this fight, so not for sure of what the intention would be for the squad, and I'm hoping that they just pull away from this, because Mammoth, there's still a lot of angles wherein the opponents, especially for those who are hearing the gunshots, might be backstabbing at them, but it's a good thing that Gao Esports is also being forced into the ridge right now, but not away. So the only thing that the Secret WAG can do is just turn their backs, let Gao Esports use that zip line so that they can pull away from this area, not risking Secret WAG to be eliminated or some of the players to be taken out.
It seems like Secret WAG did not want to have an opportunity of losing anybody or gaining anything. They rather move away. However, Saifa, he's looking forward to gaining a lot more. AGAL just picked up player from Falcons, and now they're moving in the direction where they don't know that it's Falcons or another team. And then Luan, he's been spotted, and Saifa, once he has a player in sight, he'll not allow them to run away. Charges in with the Trogon, and you can see clearly how well Nameless always supports with the electrotherapy. Barros now having another opportunity. ABCD spotted, information relayed, but the distance is a little too far, and that is the reason they are still waiting. Nameless was also knocked in this fight because the God is in between. The sniper might come into play, but Barros having another opportunity. ABCD missed his teammate getting into the vehicle. They charge in for the CQC this time themselves and put Barros down with the help of the God. And the God is always there helping Team Flash.
Yeah, I mean, God is watching us from a distance, and that's what the God is doing right now. I mean, he doesn't miss a beat, and it's just the confidence as well as the trust that they have. Team Flash has for the God right now, thus they are aggressive. What they have to do is distract the opponent. Like, the God is the one who's spotting them from afar, and then the rest in the front lines is just a distraction or a finisher, similar to what we've seen in that instance. But Twisted Mind did manage to take down one, but Jump will be taken out as well. The Bass goes with an M1014, but he doesn't land a shot and will be taken out by PS1 on that AWM. Twisted Mind in trouble, prioritizing on the pickup, but can they deal with the player of Secret WAG?
Twisted Minds, they're able to recover their teammates. The last one is Jump. He'll also be picked up. ELS1. He's closing the distance, but so is Cougar. And Cougar with the M1917 do not give Secret WH a chance at all. And that is one of the teams in the top two who are now out, meaning chances for BRU becomes higher. But BRU have to make sure they get more points. Twisted Minds, they've just now made a problem for BRU to get back in and Secret WG out.
Yeah, as you mentioned, BRU, this is your chance to watch out for Brave United Champion Bundle. That will be coming soon. And also coming soon will be the top two because they are in 7-point lead away from Team Flash. And if they stay silent, grab a booyah, whatever they have to do to stack up on points, BRU is sure enough to be able to catch up on that top two spot. But Team Flash would be a threat to everyone if they survive. It's just unfortunate, but Team Falcons is dealing with them, only leaving two behind, and I don't think it would last that long. Even ABCD has been spotted by Liminix 7, and this is how this sniper is so deadly in this fight.
Riptide Rhythm used. He quickly jumps, but in air itself, with the help of Popor, ABCD gets picked. ABCD has to go back and learn his letters the next time. At least in this game, there is no opportunity. And Team Falcons, they will come out on top of the battle. But right as now, AGL, they have another battle right on this platform near Refinery. And it is a challenge by Zuez against Nameless. A 1v1 for the time being, but AGL are completely on the edges. And so are the players of Vamos as well. A flash freeze toss for the time being, followed up with another Nameless in a 1v2 right now. More players from Vamos are grouping up.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm seeing right now is a little bit of game of pickle-nade, because it's a back and forth for both of the squad, but Nameless might be in trouble. The boss is in there from Twisted Mind, and they might be taken down, but Suez will be taken out by Crime, who did manage to go for a flank. Pickup is being done right now, and not everyone or no one is safe at the moment. And there goes Nameless being taken down. Zoo is tasked to go for a revive, and in a stealth bites, I think he'll be able to go for at least 1 or 2 on the teammates that will be guarding back.
AJL, they tried to guard their teammates, they tried to regroup, and all of that is being broken by Twisted Mind. Cypher also get confirmed. Vamos on the other end, they decided that, hey, we have an opportunity to hold off against maybe AJL, but once they were about to go ahead, Onyx Olympus surprised them, and right now, even Vamos were forced out of Refinery. They made it to the edge. They have to revive their players. A vending machine close by around Foundation. They should be able to get towards that position. But Team Flash, they're also closing the distance. Team Flash also have an opportunity to get to the top 2. All they have to do is make sure they keep securing eliminations, put teams out of the race. And right as now, ABCD, that's what his intention is. Has a Groza on hand. 2 players from Vamos in 2 different directions. Their position not right, compromised. But very soon it could be, with a hit list also being called.
Now, one trump card that will be used by Vamos right now is June. But look at this, the trajectory of Team Falcons. He was assuming that the Team Falcons was jumping towards him. He tries to move a different location, but unfortunately, that's where Team Falcons drop, just in front. But now, Team Falcons using the binocular spot out whoever is on the platform, spots 1 out of Onyx, and Porpor is just using the ledge right now, just make sure that they can stack up on elimination if they can find us stragglers. But great reposition coming from Team Falcons, but no one is safe at the moment, because in the 12-minute mark, we still have 8 teams remaining.
Yeah, all of them fighting to get to the top 2. Buriram now making their entry towards Refinery. Onyx are already holding these platforms. Something to be worried about. AJL's due stuck right in the dead middle of all of this. But AJL, they're not the ones in threat, but maybe if somebody goes for a very big game, even AJL might come in trouble. Right as now, it seems like it's going to be Team Flash. Ninkuk, he's going to be put down, but thankfully right behind a container on the platform, they have an opportunity to revive, but they have to get out in the open, and right ahead is going to be Team Falcons as well. And on the other end, the team who just found a knock is Twisted Minds.
Oh, Gao Esports is in a dangerous position, especially on a sniper or on a marksman. DN on a VSK and an M24 deadly. And finally, we got a glimpse of BRU that has been silent for, the past 13 minutes of this game. DN backs away. Good thing that he does have a hook gun, so as he doesn't break his ankles, but I think he did spot out BRU and trying to get a flank to make sure that he can either tag enough, mark them, or at least not be seen.
Oh, Demon, I don't know if it was his decision, but along him, even Goku followed that suit. But their intention was to get inside the circle. They knew climbing up and taking maybe the steel bridges, it would be a problem for them. They decided rather not to take that route, be out in the open, rather go a little down in the covers. And for the time being, it did hit them, but thankfully did not lose any of the players. So for now, they will survive. But on the other end, Buriram, they'll be able to get back up on the platform. This is the opening that Buriram would have needed. And look at Vamos right below them. No opportunity. And Vasana starts off with the Woodpecker. Gide instantly shut down. No chances for his teammates to even help him out. And now Buriram have made a jump. And they are ready to take out Onyx Olympus.
Bro, Wasana, absolute cinema, missing that monster truck drop as he used that hook gun. That should be in a movie somewhere. But jokes aside, I'm loving the position that's being taken. And this is what the intention is. Because this is a better cover compared to any other tower that BRU can take. Because of how much that edge can give you. Like, you have the elevation, but you have a little bit of cover on the edges. And Moshi is on point with Winchester. And I'm pretty sure an AWM is on him as well. But 8 teams remaining. Crazy in this kind of map and circle.
Yeah, it's very tough to see 8 teams, and majority of these 8 teams are all fighting towards that top 2. Falcons, now they have a height advantage against Twisted Minds, who are maybe looking forward to entering. Could be a problem. And there it is, Popor with the initial damage. A little bit of a touch of that bullet will give warning signs for Twisted Minds. But warning should also be there for Buriram. They might have climbed the platform, but they also need to understand the zone's closing in, and Gao Esports, who wanted to take that battle. And Buriram were the ones who stalled Gao Esports from closing the distance. And right as now, as Buriram are moving ahead, trying to get into the circle because the circle shifted, Buriram have a challenge. That is going to be Gao Esports, but Gao Esports, they're right at the edge of the circle, and they can spot 2 teams who are trying to get back in above on these heights.
Oh, speaking of get back and about, Team Falcons now is waiting for Brim United, who is getting back and about. And we saw that they did lose that fight earlier on a team versus team, but with a chaotic map and circle just like this, I couldn't say if Brim can survive any longer. Jundo doesn't recover. Blue wall has been put up, and there goes Wasana. What a woodpecker, finishing him up. Only 3 elimination, but this is still all good. There's a lot of target that might be jumping out in there, and Twisted Mind will be eliminated. We're down to 6 teams and counting down even further as the shrink happens.
The team at the top now fighting with the team that might have a chance. Team Flash and AGL on the other end. Buriram taking down Falcons. Keroro in trouble. He's been knocked. Limited 7 trying to help out, but that'll not be allowed by Vasana. On fire coming with a dash. Is it going to help him out? Trying to go in for a 1v1 challenge, but the glue wall blocks him out, and they have their own 1v1 as Moshi and Getna together pick 2 players off from Falcons, leaving Falcons to the last clip of their wing. I don't know if there's an opportunity, and there it is. Limit X7 being picked off by Gao Buriram, now bagging their chance to a total of 6 eliminations.
Yeah, BRU and Team Falcons currently on a 1-1 in their record, but 6 points. I think this is not enough, especially with how proactive Secret WAG was earlier. But position-wise, I think they're just getting in closer to that shift, and a good thing that they're taking this lower ground instead of that that platform, because there's a lot that is moving up and seldom that's looking at the bottom of these pillars. But look at that player from Onyx Olympus going against the grain right now, trying to pull away from any engagement, and unfortunately got eliminated by Buriram United. Down to 4 teams, and almost everyone a full squad other than AGAL, who's missing 1.
Yeah, AJL should be already going into the grand finals, but Buriram, their chances might be broken if Team Flash pick up something. Getna, the zone doing the damage. Gao Esports closing the distance. Problem here is Dian is picked off. Buriram, they have a challenge. On the other end, Team Flash is also there. Too many stuff for Buriram to think about, and Nameless. That's Moshi being confirmed. 2 more players. Vasana trying his best. 1v1 challenge with Duel. It doesn't work out. The God breaks it all with Cypher helping out, and Buriram is done for here, and Team Flash have an opportunity.
Well, Team Flash still haven't seen how much they have grabbed in terms of elimination, but they do have that opportunity if they can get a few more, because 27 points is what they need. It should be a massive run if they manage... What? A rain of monster truck? And I'm pretty sure it's coming from both sides, but who is crazy enough to use that kind of distraction? Dian doesn't even survive that drop, but a Riptide Rhythm, this might be a distraction that Gao needs, but Team Flash, aggressive as they are, looking for this Booyah, and the God up close and personal with that AWM lands a blow. Only 1 remains.
1 remaining, trying his best. Goku, he's been damaged, trying to use the time turner, but for how long? They've been spotted, and Luan brings out his sniper. The zone's closing, and Luan has no opportunity. Nades being tossed. 2v1. God trying his God nade. It reaches. 1v1 close up. M590, but then Luan puts Goku to rest, and that is a booyah for Team Flash. And they might have closed the gap, but is it enough? Is the question with this booyah.
I mean, either way, I'm loving this kind of finisher, Team Flash. But judging from the looks of Team Flash, I don't think they're too happy with that booyah. I think it's missing a few, especially with how much elimination has been grabbed by some who are above them, especially AGAL. But again, it's just the top two that everyone has been waiting for, has been eyeing for. But Team Flash, I'm loving this kind of approach, and two squads from Vietnam has managed to grab booyahs out of this day, which is seldom, especially in this kind of situation.
Yeah, in these kind of situations, as you said, it is a little wary. We don't always see, but stepping up to the occasion, maybe a little too late in the race, as you were talking about. Was it enough? But Team Flash, they were always looking strong. Maybe this booyah, we have to wait until we see today's standings. But for the time being, what a booyah they managed to secure. ABCD also, with the confidence that he was running in. Gao Esports, they were able to almost shut down majority of teams having control of the platform. But in that final battle, it was Team Flash who were already looking forward to their booyah for a long time now. They tried their best, they were hitting it, but finally managed to get it.
I do agree. I mean, AGAL with their survivability from that final circle, I think it's sure enough that we're going to see them in the grand finals on either the top two. But let's see though if this is something that would stick. Would it be Buriram United? Would it still be CKWAG? I doubt it, because they got eliminated a little bit early. Or would it be Team Flash? Had they put up enough? And hopefully the highlights, well, not really the highlights, but look at this. 11 elimination as well as a booyah, so that's 23 points already. And earlier we were calculating what, around 20 plus points, 27 points. So I think this is not enough for them to catch up to either Secret WAG as well as BRU.
However, there were a lot of fights where chances for Secret WAG, as soon as it went down, Buriram played it very smart. They made sure that once Secret WAG were out, Buriram, and especially they were trying to looking forward to just surviving till the very end, and rightfully Buriram did that to put points on board. But we have to always give credit to the MVP, and for sure it has to be this man, the god from Team Flash. 4,000 damage, 6 eliminations, 2 assists, having a car 98k and his active skill as Morse. This man delivers in any distance. In this last fight, we ended up seeing him also charging in towards a CQC. That tells that the god is able to do anything.
And that's one thing. The god and the CQC and the sniper probably is the confidence, because it's only one guy. But either way, he have put up a lot of fight right there. And looking at the rest of the squad, well, Enluan did manage to land a few shots. I think it's more of a card 98 elimination that we've seen. But unfortunately, the CQCs like Minku or ABCD didn't do that much. And I think that's what they're regretting in that moment where we saw it at the camera. Because judging from the numbers, it's just not enough. And there's also some of the mistakes or missing parts that they have in the first few games. It's always double digits, but if they did better in the first few maps of this day, I think they could have a breakthrough on that top two.
Agreed. I think they activated themselves in the second half, and that's where we kind of thought maybe there's an opportunity. But as you said, it is going to get tougher for them in terms of whether they've had enough or not, and clearly in the cameras as well. But their Booyah team stats also telling us the double sniper play that they have with Enluan as well as the God, the Moss we already know, then the Skyler. Then we have the Oscars, Valiant Dash, and Time Turner as well. And the Time Turner played well for Team Flash, because when the battle between them and Gao was happening, Mingkuk, if not for the Time Turner, I think maybe Enluan would have been in problem. And then they instantly turned it around, where Gao Esports came down to their last player. So really well played in terms of the skills to help their teammates out. But with that, let's see how many points did they manage to secure. And this is only 23. Unfortunate. Just before this, we were seeing them, Neptune. They were having 17 eliminations, 15 eliminations, but this time they end up hitting a little bit of a lower at 11 eliminations. If their chances were there, but with this, I think now we can put that conversation to rest.
Yeah, I mean it's tough to call, but still valiant effort for both Team Flash and Secret WAG. It's just unfortunate. Again, they got eliminated early. There's still a lot of hope for them. They did manage to get that, but we were looking at Kalahari, and Buriram United just did grab a booyah out of that, increasing the odds of them. But let's take a look at the day standings. The top two will be in there, and there you have it. 115 for AGAL, Buriram United with 102 leaving Secret WAG, Team Flash, and the rest of the squad behind. So we know the two teams that will be heading into the grand finals already.
Look at how the today's standings seem. First two teams, they're from Thailand. They both get into the very first in this phase 2 into the grand finals. Right following them is two teams from Vietnam and then is two teams from Indonesia. So right as now, it seems a little stacked top heavy for the top 6. But Thailand, congratulations. They're going to be the first entrants to the fall finals and they have an opportunity to just sit back, relax and wait to see which other teams qualify. But I'm pretty sure Secret WAG will feel a little bad. Two and they still couldn't make their way into the finals today on day 1. But team of the day obviously has to be All Gamers Global. The way they played, the amount of eliminations, they just kept bagging and tagging one after another. And with that, they tagged themselves $250 additionally.
Yeah, definitely agree. I mean, whether it's a long range or CQC, AGAL has managed to do it in this game, and I'm really loving that they are moving it quite well. I think the adjustment that they've done the moment that the frontliners have stepped up, especially Saifa, is just pristine and it's just doing quite well. One thing that we are asking for is this goes to the distance into the grand finals and they might become the champion. Again, the might would be the word of the day. But now that we're going to take out 2 of the teams out of the 12 that we have right now, we're going to introduce 2. And if I'm not mistaken, we're going to introduce Evo's Divine as well as MBR Omega because they're next on the list on 13th and 14th from phase 1.
They will be happy that they are also coming in early. Whenever teams in the first 2 days make their entry here, Neptune, I will tell that this is the best way to start things off for phase 2 to get into the grand finals, because when you go to day 3, there's already an added pressure that if you do not make it out here, then you have to go to phase 3 where you have to play 18 games and then decide to make it in the top 6, and that is even more tougher and a longer run. And right after you finish that long run, you are into the grand finals, and the next weekend you have to then start playing the grand final. So a lot at stake. If you make it early, just like how AGAL and Buriram do, you can prepare a lot of strategies, and Buriram would want to be champions moving towards the global finals as well, to defend their title from fall to back in the global finals. So there's a lot that they will be gunning for, especially with their Buriram champion bundle also coming soon. On the other end, I'm pretty sure AGL, as you mentioned, they want to get this title. They do not want to let anybody else take it away.
Yeah, I do agree, definitely agree in all of that points. And speaking of AGAL, we're going to have an interview once again with AGAL, and I want to like really listen on what the story is right there, because like AGAL has been introduced earlier on one of the interviews, and then we did listen that they want to aim for that team day as well at top 2. So they're just putting up to their promise right there, and I'm really loving it. Even BRU, though BRU is part of the top 2, but it couldn't stop them in achieving that number 1 spot. So I'm really looking for that interview.
It's going to be an interesting one to hear what we would have to see that AGL would have to say after telling us that, hey, with us we want to see Twisted Minds earlier. Now that they've already made it in the grand finals, were they sure that they wanted Buriram United Esports along with them, or they wished for somebody else? Or with this, are they confident that they are the ones who are going to be getting the title? Because it's a lot, right? Once you make your way into the very first, we tell that, hey, teams may be happy that they're in the very first. They do not have to worry about the next games. They'll directly play in the finals. But it's also that they have put themselves in the spotlight, that every team will be trying to counter their fight with them to figure out, deny these teams who make their entry early into the finals and then take it away for yourself. Maybe AGL might come under that pressure.
Well, let's see. Let's bring it over to AGAL and listen what they have to say. So let's head over to the interview.
We are with the team that got a ticket to the grand final AGAL ตอนนี้นะคะเราก็อยู่กับทีมที่ได้ตั๋วไป grand final ตั้งแต่วันแรกเลยซึ่งก็คือทีม AGAL นั่นเองนะคะตอนนี้เราอยู่กับใครเอ่ย
AG สายฟ้า
AGAL สายฟ้านะคะ so you did an incredible job today วันนี้ทำได้ดีมากๆเลย you just claimed the team of the day and also secure your spot in the grand final how you feeling about that เราเนี่ยได้ทีม of the day แล้วยังได้ไปรอบไฟนอลตั้งแต่วันนี้เลยรู้สึกยังไงบ้างคะ
ก็ดีใจครับเพราะหวังไว้อย่างนั้นครับอยากเข้ารอบทีมแรก
We are really happy about that because this is our expectation and we want to enter the next round by today and so do you expect Twisted Mind to qualify with you guys today but they end up in 12th place any encouragement to them คือดิวเนี่ยเขาบอกว่าวันนี้ Twisted Mind จะเข้ารอบกับ AGL เพราะว่า Twisted Mind เป็นทีมระดับจักรวาลก็เลยอยากถามว่าวันนี้ Twisted Mind จบอันดับ12อยากจะให้กำลังใจอะไรหน่อยไหม
ก็สู้ๆครับขอให้เข้ารอบทุกทีมครับทีมไทย
Keep fighting not only Twisted Mind but to all the Thai teams we will enter the grand final together and looking at the standing top 2 teams are from Thailand following 3 and 4th place from Vietnam and Indonesia is in the 5th place so do you think this proves that this is Thai era and Indonesian team is left behind จากตารางคะแนนวันนี้เนี่ยท็อป 2 เป็นประเทศไทยหลังจากนั้นก็ตามด้วยเวียดนามแล้วอินโดนีเซียเนี่ยอยู่ท็อป 5 เลยแล้วตอนนี้เนี่ยเราคิดว่าตอนนี้เป็นยุคสมัยของประเทศไทยไหมแล้วอินโดนีเซียเนี่ยกำลังจะไล่ตามเราไม่ทัน
คิดว่าเป็นยุคของทีมไทยตั้งนานแล้วเราแค่ไม่ได้แชมป์เฉย
I always believe that this is Thai era for a long time we just didn't get a champ and based on today's performance which 2 teams do you predict to qualify by tomorrow and why จากผลงานในวันนี้เนี่ยเราคิดว่าอีก2ทีมที่จะได้เข้ารอบในพรุ่งนี้คือทีมไหน
คิดว่าฟอลคอนทวิตครับ
ทำไมล่ะคะ
เพราะทีมไทยก็เก่งกันอยู่แล้วน่าจะเข้ารอบแกรนด์ไฟนอลทุกทีม
He predict that Falcons and Twisted Mind will qualify to the next round by tomorrow because he believe that Thai teams are really strong and is it because that Twisted Mind is the team of the universe เป็นเพราะว่า Twisted Mind เนี่ยเป็นทีมแห่งจักรวาลด้วยหรือเปล่า
น่าจะใช่ครับ
Yes, he also agreed that Twisted Mind is the best team of this universe. And please tell something to the fans that keep cheering for you. ช่วยบอกอะไรกับแฟนคลับที่คอยเชียร์ให้เราเข้ารอบในวันนี้หน่อยค่ะ
ก็ขอบคุณครับตอนนี้ก็เข้ารอบแล้ว
Thank you for cheering for us. We finally going to the grand final for sure. And that is the interview from our side. For now, let's get back to the caster and see you tomorrow. นั่นเป็นการสัมภาษณ์ในวันนี้นะคะกลับไปที่แคสเตอร์กันแล้วเจอกันพรุ่งนี้ดีกว่าค่ะบ๊ายบาย
Thank you very much, Patty and Saifa, and still they're cheering on Twisted Mind. I love that they're really eyeing on Team Falcons as Twisted Mind to be the next contender. But let's not take it away from the Vietnamese squad, who was very close to take it away from both AGAL and BRU. But one thing that I'm hoping for is they maintain, like Vietnam maintains that energy, because at some point, if you miss out on the first, some teams get disappointed and doesn't perform that much in the following.
Yeah. I hope they don't get disappointed. We always talk about this, right? It is about a reset that teams need to think about. Hey, day 1 is done. It's not that you're eliminated. Your chance just missed out. Yes, I'm pretty sure Secret WG, especially being so close, we spoke about it, having 2 booyahs, they still missed out the opportunity. Team Flash securing the booyah at the very end missed their opportunity. So yes, they will have this on the back of their mind, but tomorrow is a new day. There's going to be 2 new teams adding on. There's another opportunity. If you've already made it to the third and fourth, you are the best next teams who should be jumping in. So I think this is an opportunity that they should take care of.
Well, there's one thing though, for those who will be aiming to get those booyahs as well as the top 2 for the next day, hopefully they are grabbing themselves a little bit of Red Bull, because Red Bull Zinc and Vitamins from Thailand is supplemented with Zinc B3 and B6, featuring a mild taste that helps players stay highly focused and seize every opportunity to achieve stylish booyah victories. And for Red Bull, hopefully the teams not only trust their teammates but also trust their energy.
That's what is very crucial. Trust your energy, and that's what you will with Red Bull Zinc and Vitamin from Thailand. A brilliant stuff that we've had here on day 1 of phase 2. We've witnessed Neptune. 2 teams have made it, but both the teams are from Thailand. Now this raises the question for everybody else, who is the next team? Which region are they from? All of this will be unveiled only tomorrow. So make sure you tune back in tomorrow for all the action to see FFWS SEA 2026 fall. This is going to be me, Neptune. This is going to be me, Lucifer, on behalf of Neptune and AJ signing off on day 1. See you tomorrow. Let's start again.
Now, burn bright, I don't burn out. Crush down, sick of me now, huh?
I can never go reverse now.
But I'ma spin it back, A-jump. Went from nada to the crowd, throw in their hands, bass jump. I'ma hit the finish line no matter what. They front, first place, you a runner-up, dominant, but the red and the blues going ruthless. 10 out of 10, 11, I don't snooze. I pursue, don't push it, put me in game that I don't lose. I stay cool, depending on my pen and pennants I choose. Ayy, I'ma show you how it. Got it, loudest. Wu-Tang, I'm a bird, love the competition. Told you only way is up, I don't go reverse. I can't entertain. Will you do the same? Cause I've been ready my whole life. Only see my back, I ain't turning back on them. Wings on me, I'm higher. Now. Who am I gon' verse now? Show me what it's worth now. I pull up in the can't imagine. All these people wanna follow, missing in action. Paper planes, I'ma count those. Made it from rapping, and I met role models. Thinking I'ma pass all the monogram on my body. The shit, shout out to Virgil. Know that I'm gon' beat them like the shit that I put words to. Mama and the internet, 2 things that I just learned through. Hit it out of the park, so there's nothing to reverse to. I can't entertain.